Subscribe to the all-new HardLore Patreon now for early, ad-free access to every episode and an exclusive episode every month.
When it's my time, like when I get a chance to go up there, I'm not going to waste that opportunity. Like anytime a band gets up on stage, I don't care if you're playing in your friend's basement or you're playing a big room to a sold-out crowd, like you have a platform. And it's almost, I'm not getting onto bands who don't do this, but it's like it's almost your responsibility to use it.
Hello, welcome. It's HardLore time. How are you, Bo?
I'm doing very well. Who we got today?
This is a big week. We have 8 years after their incredible final show. One of the preeminent straight-edge hardcore frontmen in modern history. He's nodding, but I'm not wrong. Mr. Coach Thomas Pearson.
Hello.
How are
Hello,
you,
sir.
Thomas?
I'm good. Doing all right. Just got back from the movies, so I'm feeling okay right now.
What'd you see?
What did you see?
Strange Darling.
I got a story about that last night that I could break into at any moment here, but this is about you, Thomas.
You might as well. It's poignant while we're talking about movies.
Lord, is it ever poignant. Thomas, let's just get right into it, okay?
Okay.
Because 8 years after what some would consider a perfect ceremonious send-off that Bo played, what now made Foundation ready to come back and play again?
Wow, that's a layered question.
I know. I got to give the people what they want immediately.
So I'm going to try to do the band justice. Everything I tell is going to be from my perspective and my memory and my understanding of the events. But about a year ago, Andrew was kind of Andrew Wright, the guitar player, big gnome. He was still kind of actively playing in some bands, and his favorite stuff to write was still hardcore songs. He wanted to write hardcore songs, and so when he wanted to think of other musicians to play with him, of course, his list was Champ, Hank, Caleb. And then somehow I kind of got talked into the picture as well. And then we realized that if we were going to be in a band together, it felt like it would be silly to start a new band and it'd be the exact same composition of the previous band.
That would be silly.
Yeah.
And then so there was talks of like, well, let's like hear me out. I got some riffs and stuff like that, and they sounded good, and they sounded like Foundation songs. So we were like, okay, like maybe this is like an Indecision, Most Precious Blood type thing. And we could do that route. And then when we had initially had that idea, we were like, okay, well, maybe we'll play some shows. We'll reach out to some people and see what it's like out there. And it kind of just quickly like escalated, almost snowballed too rapidly for anybody's taste. And
How so?
It kind of spooked everyone. And we're like, we don't want to do it.
How
Let's
snowballing?
just shut it down. Well, maybe this show will lead to this show, and then we could go do this, and then we could do that, and then maybe we could write another EP, and then
Just
when,
yeah, I see.
that kind of just scared everybody because, like for me personally, I like where I'm at in my life. I love teaching. I love coaching,
esports.
yeah, esports, coaching. I have kids that I'm actively trying to bring up in the world. Champ, as well, small business owner. He's got kids. Hank, really big in the tattooing scene. He's like making a name for himself. Andrew's just recently started a family. And so it just kind of like, it felt scary because when we were playing as a band.
What about Caleb?
Sorry, and Caleb. Yeah, he's playing in other bands. He's keeping himself busy when he's not on the road, like when he's getting home. And then so, a big thing about when Foundation was a band is we kind of just put our lives on a shelf. Not to quote blacklisted here, but we put everything on a shelf to go do this band. Like we just didn't really have lives. And so the thought of doing that again, I think really spooked everybody, but that wasn't the intention. We just all thought that that's what was going to happen. So we just said no and just kind of stopped it cold turkey.
What was that?
What happened recently is I kind of got into the headspace of like, I don't really get to see my friends that often. I'll pop in and see Champ every once in a while at the shop when I'm like,
at Guilty Party.
Coffee. Yeah, at Guilty Party.
Here's the address.
I'll pop in and see Hank at the shop every once in a while. I rarely get to see Andrew because he kind of lives north of the city now. And I'll see Caleb whenever he was kind of in the area. And I'm like, it feels like the only time we really get to see each other is when we're playing together. And I really want to see these people again. And I don't know. I think we just wanted to play. We just wanted to play shows again. I don't know what happens.
That's kind of.
It's exactly.
Well, you guys did that in that interview with Weekend Nachos with Drew and John. I thought they kind of had some poignant things to say about it. Where it's like when you're younger and everything's very black and white. We're breaking up and that's it.
Yeah.
And then as like a few years have passed, it's kind of like maybe it's not so black and white. Maybe we can do some shows every once in a while, and we don't have to pause everything we're doing to accommodate the band.
And that's kind of how universally how hardcore is now.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys really got out right before the whole thing changed.
That's what it feels like.
It is funny to think that you could see Foundation with your current makeup and everybody's personal lives and everything fitting really well into, and I'm sure it's what we're going to see, fitting really well into the Incendiary, Mind Force, God's Hate, even, like
Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, Weekend Warriors, able to do what you can when you can because you want to, because it's fun,
Yes.
Which is very different than have to because rent is due. It's nice. It's kind of more pure in a way.
It is.
Well,
and luckily Have Heart really broke the barrier of we broke up, just kidding.
They broke the seal.
They broke the seal. They broke up and then came back and played the biggest hardcore show of all time. So
yeah.
So Foundation in Atlanta 2026 is going to be.
I would never put us on the same scale as a band like that. I'm honestly just grateful that anybody would give a shit 8 years later.
Well, there's an entire generation of hardcore listeners Bo and I have found through doing our vast research the past 2 years on the streets, at the shows, everywhere. An entire generation that looks at Foundation as like the straight edge band for their era. And I think Bo and I like actively watched that happen in real time.
They missed it. They like missed out because not only had you guys been broken up, but then when COVID happened and this like concentration, like everything renders down and like people, I don't know. It seemed like people were like, well, what are the straight edge bands? We've all done it, right? We've all done it with like the older bands.
Yeah.
Like when you and I were younger, the younger people who didn't get to see you guys, that all rendered out, and you have Foundation, you have Heart, you have bands like that. They never got to see them, so you become one of those bands,
On your way out, you accidentally became this prolific, like Mount Rushmore straight edge band. Was there a specific moment where you kind of realized that was the case, or are we breaking news to you right now?
Talking about like self-importance or something that just
how important are you to yourself?
I thank God every day I wake up. Me. No, I don't. No, I don't. It's weird to reflect on that, but to not acknowledge the fact that we helped kind of put Georgia and Atlanta on the radar for so many people nationally, I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah,
sure.
To be put as like a Rushmore, like a straight edge band, like that's crazy to me. I'll only take that because there's so few of us edgemen left. That, I know that you guys have felt it over the last few years where it's like Highlander, like I've just gotten stronger every time someone falls.
100%.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point we're making. Now there's a whole new crop. And now what's happening is there's a whole new crop that we're going to outlast and Highland ourselves tue.
That is true, but before they break, they really love Foundation.
They gotta see Foundation.
Yeah.
Like, how do I describe this? Even the ones that kind of were there for the end, it was like an overnight thing of like I watched Foundation struggle on this Comeback Kid tour.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
And then a month later, the universal sentiment was like Foundation is the greatest straight edge band of all time. I've seen them 1,000 times. I've never missed a gig. I love them so much. Everybody loves them.
Can't believe they're going away. You know,
and it was like, you killed them by not going to this Comeback Kid tour.
I mean, Thomas, is it true that like, and I'm just asking like, because this was, as Colin is saying, kind of the perception, like the last tour that Foundation did was your best tour.
Agreed. The band would even agree to that. Like,
yeah,
it felt like, I feel like this happens with anybody that was kind of doing like that era of like, we're going to play the last few shows where it's like, well, I better get off my ass and go see them because this is probably going to be the last time. So if people,
by those bands, do you mean only Foundation and Bane?
Well, Half-Heart did the final tour as well.
They did. They had, but that was a couple years before. A solid 10,
for sure.
almost.
But to be fair, we didn't do a full US. We did like 3 East Coast, 3 Midwest, and 3 East Coast shows. Because again, the thought of doing a full tour at that point in our lives, we were like, no, please no more. Like we're tapping out, please no more. And we just wanted to go to like select areas that had been really good to us. Mm-hmm. So like Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis. Where else did we go? Wilkes-Barre, Long Island.
Did you play Richmond?
We played Richmond on United Blood.
Okay, that was Foundation was like made for me. It had to have been United Blood. Was it the Cro-Mags year?
Yes.
So it was like Cro-Mags, Rise and Fall, Converge, right? Bad Seed played. So I think that was 08 or 09.
That was 09. That was the year Pulling Teeth played and the sprinkler got busted.
The sprinkler went off. That's right. But I watched you guys from behind Champ, and there were more Atlanta shirts than any other in the room. And it was this realization for me. I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, this is the band, I guess.
They did it?
Yeah, like they did it. You know, I vividly remember that.
So it's funny you would bring that up because I would joke with people all the time. If you get the 3rd spot on Friday at United Blood, that's the breakout set.
Like
I don't remember the band the year before us. I don't remember which band had it, but it was like the next year for them was awesome. And then we had it that year, and the next year was like our growing year. Like we really had a lot of growth that year as far as like going out against on the touring the country and having people come out to the shows. Mm-hmm. And then the year after we broke up, I think AOP, which was Caleb's band, Abuse of Power, they played it, and then they had like pretty good success as well. So I'm always like, hey, if you get the 3rd spot on Friday,
you're saying 3rd from the bottom,
or from the top?
3rd from the bottom. Like,
damn, good for you, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because you remember, Friday was like an afternoon set.
That's true.
Yeah. It was a shorter day.
It was like a half day almost.
Fucking perfect set. Perfect.
Come on
fest,
back now.
Rather.
It's time.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many times have we toured together, Thomas?
Oh fuck! It feels like 100.
Well, because there was Convicted as well.
Yes, and that's how I got to know you guys, and that's when I found out that Bo was a good dude.
Right.
So can I tell a story real quick before we get into that?
Sure.
Tell a great deal.
Foundation's first U.S. tour, us and Forfeit from Syracuse.
Yeah.
Wildcats old band. Just hanging on by a shoestring. Didn't get invited to any of the major fests that year. Like This Is Hardcore, Sound of Fury. So we're still kind of touring in that pathway, but kind of behind everybody else. We're kind of chewing on their breadcrumbs. We play Chicago. I don't know where we played. Some weird rec hall that had like a dance studio across from it. It was near that like 4-tiered like military store. I don't know.
Belmont Army. So that would have been near there. It was the Galaxy. It was the Galaxy.
I think it was. Yeah. Smaller show. Not gonna complain. First time in Chicago. Decent little crew of people came out. We played with Luke's other band.
No Risk, No Reward?
Yes. And you were there with, I think, Clint, and you guys were packing the Harm's Way 7-inch.
That's right.
And I remember being like, and I didn't know this. I didn't know that, like, you don't know me. I don't know you. But I was just like, hey, what's up? I was like, oh, cool, Harm's Way 7-inch. And you were just like, yeah.
Dude, there's so many stories. There are so many stories of me, like my first time meeting people where I'm just a total asshole.
This feels impossible to me.
I know. It's like, it breaks my heart because I cannot fathom it. Maybe I've seen you accosted by strangers left and right, and I've only seen a cherub.
You know?
I cannot fathom it. So,
but this isn't the
apologies.
first report, so I have to believe.
Yeah, I know it. And I'm learning this about myself, and now my greetings are like, "Hi, how are you? Really good," because I like.
So,
Jesus.
In your defense, though, I don't think you were not being cordial. I think you were a guy who was sitting there packing 407 inches by hand.
Yeah.
It's the middle of summer. You know, like you're doing something slightly stressful. You've probably seen 900 shows that summer because this was the time when everybody was touring their asses off all the time. And
Interesting.
It was probably just like okay, cool.
Yeah,
and then maybe we'll talk later if we cross paths again. But like right now is not the exact moment.
Yeah, that place only did shows for a little while. The last Expired Youth show was there. The last Convicted show was there. A handful of others. So it's funny that you remember it because I honestly kind of almost forgot about it.
That you never forget your first tour. You remember every shitty little detail.
Well, interestingly,
and every amazing
Colin,
thing that happened.
Something that ties in with you was the first time Foundation and like us toured. It was Convicted, and it was Alpha Omega was the other band on the tour. Obviously you weren't on the tour, but that's a little tie-in with you.
Interesting.
Just in general, and it was mostly East Coast.
No, we picked up Alpha and Omega on the West Coast because we were limping back to the East Coast.
Yeah, I don't think we made it to the West Coast though, did we? I don't think.
Great question.
I don't think Convicted.
Did we pick you up in like Arizona or Texas or something?
No,
we linked up again because you played the Atlanta show.
Charlie could like, I think we only did East Coast because Charlie couldn't really go. He had like he was an iron worker. He couldn't like go too much.
Yeah.
Like he had to work. But I remember one thing I remember vividly was us playing the church in Boston, which was like a big deal. Suicide File played like a surprise set. It was like a whole thing. But yeah, that was when I remember I was like, oh, the Foundation guys are like our age and they're all edge and they're all cool and just like want to swim or whatever.
And steal stuff. But anyway.
We learned that later on for sure.
I think my first interaction with you was on my first US tour, which was the Bane, Trapped Under Ice, Cruel Hand, Alpha and Omega one. On the Atlanta date, you gave a speech just because you felt like it. And that was when I was like, oh, he's the speech guy around here, I guess. Tell me about Thomas Pearson, the speech guy, pre-frontman, growing up in Atlanta, finding straight edge, finding speeches.
Okay, so when I was getting into hardcore, first of all, that line, when I was getting into it,
you know, it needs to be said.
Well, the bands that resonated the most with me, other than like the Rev catalog, were kind of like the really kind of dingy DIY, kind of like hard bands, but with like really, like hippie politics, like Frail and Reversal of Man, and
Trial 108,
Trial, Chokehold, stuff like that.
Yeah,
the bands that you would open up their lyric books and they would have like dissertations.
Yeah,
before the record, like this is what this record's about, and that stuff really resonated with me. Where I was like, oh, this band's like talking about something, and even if it was like something I didn't really like understand or agreed with initially, like I remember like Indecision was my pathway into like atheism, and I remember being like kind of scared by that. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? That's scary.
Yeah.
But the song was hard as fuck, so I wanted to mosh to them. And that's where I got that from. And then I'm going to give a great deal to Aaron Bedard, who's like probably one of the best, frontmen of hardcore's existence, really. And that motherfucker can spin some yarns on stage that really like tie like the song together, the place they're playing, and kind of like things that are happening in the world. Like, what do you call it? A great orator. Like, he was so good. I would just be mesmerized. And I'm like, when it's my time, like when I get a chance to go up there, I'm not going to waste that opportunity. Like anytime a band gets up on stage, I don't care if you're playing in your friend's basement or you're playing a big ass room to a sold out crowd, like you have a platform. And it's almost, I'm not getting onto bands who don't do this, but it's like, it's almost your responsibility to use it. That's just how I feel. And that's kind of what fueled that.
Real fucking yappers, dude.
So Harm's Way and Foundation toured together a lot. We had a lot to say on stage.
We're Harm's Way.
Thanks. Yeah.
But there's a place for that too. That's what I'm saying. I'm not getting onto those bands.
No. I'm joking, of course.
We need both. We need the yin and yang.
100%.
Were you in bands prior to Foundation? I'm assuming you were.
So in like 10th grade, I was in a band that lasted a week called MDK.
Dude.
Murder, Death, Kill. From the movie Demolition Man.
Dude, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Taken again now.
Yeah, Taken again.
Long time.
We were a 3-piece, and the other kid was this kid named Wesley who liked Bad Religion. That was like the only band he liked. Other than that, he didn't even listen to punk music.
Gotta get him on.
And this kid in our neighborhood who just happened to know how to play an instrument named Mullet.
Mullet.
Because he had a
It's
mullet.
a sick band.
You got to get the band back together, dude.
Yeah.
And I really remember wanting to sound like almost like 80s new wave music. Like
cool.
But like with like a hard punk edge to it.
You're describing like my 30s so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they wrote all the great hooks in the 80s. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, they got everything.
I was like, we need a great hook, and then this band is made.
MDK. So never played a show. You were banned for 1 week.
No, never played a show. Didn't do anything other than like a boombox recording. Where I remember writing a song about how I was like, "You think your green hair makes you cool, but like you're not.
Yeah,
like,
fuck you.
You're all style and no substance."
And now green hair is running shit, dude. They showed your ass.
Yeah, the green hairs have it all. I don't
They
know
got
what's
you,
going
dude.
on.
They're winning. So was it MDK Foundation?
No. It was MDK, and then years later, like when I'd actually listened to real music and was like, "Oh, this is what a hardcore band's supposed to sound like." I did a band with Blake from Dead in the Dirt.
Yeah.
A phenomenal musician. And this guy named Evil Sean, who drums for a metal band called Cloak from Atlanta.
Why did they call him that?
Evil Sean, nicest guy.
You wouldn't he's a
play
pastor,
drums.
you wouldn't believe it.
Well, his name was Evil Sean because the first time I met him, he was in a high school like goth metal band where he played BC Rich Warlock, and he had fishnet arm stockings.
He's the coolest guy ever, is what you're telling me?
He's the coolest. He's still the coolest.
Okay.
Wow.
Big fans of Evil Sean here on HardLore.
Evil Sean.
Yeah. And we did a band called Final Expression, and that was actually kind of like a real band. We played local shows.
Cool.
And put out a couple of demos.
Hell
and
yeah.
thought that maybe we would do something with that.
Yeah.
And that was right around the same time that Instilled was a band.
Okay.
So Champ's first real band.
And he's been a ripper the whole time, right?
Who, Champ?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when would
When
would this have been, Thomas? Final Expression.
Shit. Like 2001 to 2003, roughly.
Yeah.
So not long enough before Foundation, but the seeds are sprouting.
Mm-hmm.
The seeds are there, but like tonally, Final Expression was very different too. Like I was very obsessed with like early Converge and Cave-In at that time. I was like,
you're doing
yeah, like that kind of stuff. Or like, clearly a bunch of 16-year-olds who know how to play parts, but maybe not how to structure a song correctly. And they're just putting all this noise together. And I'm like, yeah, we got to sound like Caring and Killing era Converge, Until Your Heart Stops Cave-In.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing that happened to that band was we all discovered Tragedy kind of at the same time. And we're like, no, fuck that. That's what we're doing now. We're doing heavy-ass drums with like...
That kind of works, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's adjacent, I would say.
Oh, for sure. And it was like... So that kind of changed the way the band sounded.
Gotcha. The metalcore, vintage metalcore to D-beat pipeline was very fast.
Yes. Like not just being like, oh, we got to be a D-beat band, but just being like... I mean, you understand how Tragedy sounds. Like, it's so melodic, yet it's the heaviest thing you've ever heard at the same time. And we're like, we got to do that.
That's truly like a difficult thing to do also. Like the web that they weave and kind of the needle that they thread, that's what I'm trying to say, is like kind of crazy. That's not easy to do.
Not a lot of bands can do that.
It's really only Tragedy and From Ashes Rise that have done it. And I wonder why. Just kidding. Tell me about Atlanta before Foundation.
Yeah, at the time.
Just growing up there. What a wild place.
Atlanta was a very... I feel like every scene goes through this at a certain point where... But I'll call it the Instilled era. That's kind of when all of us, like me and Champ and Andrew, all of us were kind of getting into our prime. We were like, not just like getting our toes wet at the show anymore. We were kind of like actively taking more roles, like playing in bands or booking shows or making zines and stuff like that, just being a little more proactive. And the Instilled era of Atlanta was kind of like what I feel a few scenes go through, where it was like Instilled had to headline the show no matter who came through town.
Okay.
And I feel like every scene has an era where they kind of go through that, where it's like,
no, you do not want to play before the banging ass local band right now. Trust me.
Yeah. I mean, for real, I went to Richmond one time, and all the touring bands played, and then DTN headlines.
Of course,
you weren't going to play over them.
Yeah.
Because everyone was loyal to the band, and I feel like Atlanta's was like that for a long time, because even before that, we had bands like Downpour and stuff, and people were very loyal to the bands.
Which is important, because a lot of scenes are not that.
No,
LA took a long time to be that. Chicago is still not there, you know? So that's cool. I mean, Florida, Atlanta, Richmond, Texas are all very like us first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And clearly they were not at some point.
Well, I think it stems from the fact too that I thought about this question today, actually, because I was like, it might come up where, again, this is my perception of things. I don't know the reality. You could go back and talk to dudes like Ken Tufore and Jeff Jock and like kind of the older guys and be like, what was it actually like? But it felt like Atlanta was also kind of like a show me city. Like, oh yeah, we know you're like the big band in your area and you tour, but like, we don't fucking know you.
Sick.
And so like, there's an old zine you can go back and read where the Hope Conspiracy played Atlanta. They played the warehouses. There's like 300 kids there, but everybody's just staring at them.
Yeah.
And so Jonas, the bass player, is like talking to Jock after the show. And he's like, what's the deal? Did we just fucking die in there? And he was like, did anybody walk out? And he was like, no. He's like, no, then you guys are fine. It's kind of like we're like an assessing city. Like, okay, what are you about? Who are you? Are you here to just like look good and flashy? Are you guys about something? Are you,
the council is actively analyzing the performance.
Yeah. And so that attitude, I think, kind of bled over to Foundation too, and like why we toured so much. Like, we're talking about now like kind of being like weekend warriors. When the band first started, we openly kind of beefed weekend warrior bands. We didn't really understand that mindset. Like, what do you mean you have like a job in life? That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
You either sacrifice everything for hardcore and touring, or you ain't shit. Very juvenile mindset, but it pushed us to do what we did those first 9 years of the band, basically. Yeah. And that comes from the Atlanta mindset of like, we don't know you. Mm-hmm. You came through town one time.
But there is, of course, validity to like paying one's dues to doing the grinding. Nobody likes to see something come from nothing and be the biggest thing ever. And that really doesn't happen. Like all of the most popular bands in our genre, we've all seen play tiny ass rooms.
And if not that in that band, in the band that they struggled in before it.
Exactly. So
you watched guys kind of struggle through other bands, and then you're like, oh, finally, like they got this band going, and it's gonna like get out there and do something, and so you're like actively rooting for them.
Yeah. But I totally I understand, and certainly young Bo identifies with the like part-time bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know this fucking guy.
I totally get that. They're not playing Omaha, Yeah.
Shout out to Omaha.
Straight up, dude.
Played some good shows there, and seen some insane shit happen in Omaha. So,
you want to tell us about it? Okay.
Are you gonna bleep the names out?
Yeah, I can. Steven?
Or you can just not.
Yeah, you don't have to, but
you can make up names.
I prefer you did.
Evil Larry,
make up some names.
Or whatever.
On a particular tour with a Southern California band of note.
Okay.
We played Omaha, played a sick show, and in the back room, possibly the drummer of another notable band took a shit on one of the roadies, who we won't say by name.
Was this because of Uno?
No, not even because of Uno. Just because nobody thought it would happen.
Wait, was it a really small turd?
Yes.
This story is on the show.
Like a little gerbil shit.
Yeah.
No, this is documented.
But here's the thing: there's a band playing, and then all of a sudden, from the back area, you see 40 people come running out screaming. That's this band who's like trying to have a set.
That's Omaha for you.
This is well documented, but I didn't know it was Omaha. So.
Oh, so you know the story?
Oh, the poop guy as well. We've heard the story.
Yeah, the Wikipedia page is being updated now with the location.
That's good. So
God.
speaking of early Atlanta, anybody from the band Crime Scene still around?
And actively coming to shows?
Yeah.
I have not seen anybody from Crime Scene at an Atlanta show in a long time.
Do you remember Crime Scene, Bo?
I don't.
The Jeep music video band?
System damage, mine. Now that's really fucking serious.
Shit. No.
Where
You
they
would
like
know.
shoot the guys?
Where they're shooting guns from the Jeep in the music video.
Crime Scene. Is it? It's like a hardcore bit?
Yeah, it's like Bury Your Dead vibes, I would say.
Okay.
More beatdown. I think they were more fascinated with like Fury of 5.
You think they knew what that was at that time?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the singers, this guy named Matt Hardcore, or what older people refer to as Land of the Rising Mosh. He used to wear like one of those like Japan like bandanas,
dude.
when he was in the pit.
Okay, Land of the Rising Mosh is pretty good because of that continuity.
Did he beat ass?
I'm on board.
Oh yeah, he was like one of those guys that looked like one of the dudes from the Guerrilla Warfare DVDs.
Like prolific mosher, crime scene.
Like hit the backflips and the one-handed cartwheels, and
Jesus.
He was the guy that was like, "Yo, you should listen to Fury 5. Yo, Irate, you should listen to this band." And I'd be like,
"Wow, he was ahead of his time."
I don't know. That's for me. And he'd be like, "No, listen to it." What do you mean you don't listen to Candiria?
You're selling me on hardcore Kyle. What was his name?
Evil Larry.
Matt Hardcore.
Matt Hardcore. Yeah.
Sick as hell.
Was there a like an older band from Atlanta? Like 80s hardcore. Was hardcore a thing?
Yeah, Neon Christ.
Neon Christ was like kind of the band.
Yes.
You watch the documentary, like the America's Hardcore documentary or whatever, and there's always like the non-major cities will have like Battalion of Saints and fucking Die Kreuzen and like all these like weird random, and couldn't think of an Atlanta one.
There's like a map. There's like an old punk map.
Yeah.
Of the country, and I would imagine Neon Christ is the little star on Atlanta.
For sure.
That's
they
awesome.
actually played a few years ago. I'm gonna remember this poorly. I didn't get to see it. I was working. This is when I had like 2 jobs. They played a few years ago outside of a place in Little Five Points, and it was like a really, really big turnout because all the, Killed by Death scene, like they love that band, so they all kind of came out for that. But I think that the dude who currently sings for Alice in Chains was singing for them.
Whoa.
I might be remembering that wrong.
Oh,
That
he's
dude-
good.
That
Someone
dude
in
can
Atlanta
wail.
is like literally like throwing up right now. They're like, "Oh, you fucked that up so
idiot."
bad."
That's awesome.
I like your version. That guy wails, dude.
He can kill it.
In the Criminal Instinct episode, we run through all kinds of classic Atlanta hijinks from the 2010s, late 2000s. Were you involved in any of that?
Maybe.
Statutes up, dude. Statutes up.
100%. What
14 years.
What can you tell me about your time as a teenage miscreant in Atlanta? Anything come to mind? You have a favorite heist?
You
My
lived in the
favorite-
house, didn't you?
I did live at the house. I lived at Whiteford. R.I.P.
Yeah.
They tore it down last year and built this monstrosity there.
Unbelievable.
Like they don't even understand the history that was in that room. So like, it's a shame.
The schemes that were birthed.
Yeah. Definitely. We all kind of worked at this place where we had access to a shrink wrapper. So a lot of things getting bought, emptied out, and then shrink wrapped and returned. That was always kind of my favorite one because it was simple and smooth.
Yeah.
I can tell a story about that. I did the iPod trick because we lived in a neighborhood where my truck got broken into weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And one time I left my iPod under the seat. I guess maybe I played it and like it fallen and I just didn't even think about it. iPod got stolen. I was like, I need a new iPod. I buy an iPod. RIP iPod. Greatest invention.
I just reorganized this office and I have a bag of 480 gigs.
Classics?
4 of them. Just
4?
classics. Yeah, 4 of them.
Dude, I'm thinking about going back to analog iPod.
I miss it.
I miss it too. It's just not. It's not that.
We gotta go back, dude. Fuck this Spotify bullshit.
I don't want to get on a tangent real quick. I want to finish the story, but I do miss the time when you would be on tour with your iPod and you'd have to hook it up to someone else's computer to get something.
Yeah,
dude,
it felt like
I want that
acquiring.
band, that local band's demo. You can only get it from the locals.
I was the 18-year-old plug for people were down. Grown men twice my age were using my computer to fill up their iPods. It was one of the greatest honors of my life.
You probably had
It's
everything.
over. Now we're making fucking Spotify playlists once a week, which is awesome.
Dude, it's a really good playlist. You should
same.
definitely listen to it, but
It's not the same. Yeah, please continue.
yeah. Anyway,
I bought the iPod, took the iPod out, and I'm like, what's similar in weight to an iPod? This Jell-O packet. So I took this packet of like Jell-O that hasn't been made into Jell-O yet. I put it in the iPod, seal it. I'm like, ooh, this weight is good. Take it back to the store, and it's no issue. They'll take back anything. They don't care. They're like, one, their return policy is insane, and two, like, why does the employee want to give you a hard time?
How many of this store are in the area? Is there one that you're all going to the whole time?
God, I can bleep that out.
Yeah.
There's a few, and the best practice is to not shit where you eat.
Yeah.
of course.
But sometimes you're lazy and you're like, I'm just gonna hit the one over there.
And let's be honest, a stupid young guy.
Yeah.
You just think you're invincible. Of course.
Yeah, you're like, well, what are they gonna say to me?
It's so crazy. I got caught stealing when I was 9, and I never did it again.
Dude, have
That's
I told you what
crazy.
I got caught stealing?
I think so, but please, God, remind me.
I stole 3 DVDs from a Meyer. I paid everything, so this is all done.
All right.
I stole Saw 1,
Hey, I get it, man.
Saw 2,
Yes.
and the Family Guy Blue Harvest DVD.
Oh, dude, that's a great special.
A great one. I don't know how you got that one though. It's a big box.
It wasn't. It was just like just the movie. So
Okay.
You
there was
were
no
preparing for the greatest evening of your fucking
I
life.
really
dude.
was.
A little Saw 1, and then you ease it with the Blue Harvest, and then you go Saw 2.
And then Saw 2. And I got caught right at the door. Right at the fucking door, man.
What did they say to you?
I was underage, so I was fine.
Yeah.
But it was like, you're gonna pay a $300 fine, and we won't press charges or whatever. And at the time, I was working, thank God. I was like 16, 17. I was probably working at Subway, honestly. And they were like, you literally pay us every dollar you have and you'll be fine.
Holy shit, they extorted you.
But
Yeah,
the
they
hilarious
kinda
thing
did.
is, I went home and told my mom, and she was like, well, here's some money. Go out. like it was like nothing. So
Can you bring me back a Saw 1, Saw 2, and that new Family Guy special?
But I did. All is to say, I agree with you. I never stole again. Like I was scared straight. Like
I don't trust it.
I'm not
Well,
doing
you guys
that.
are geniuses, and I was a dumbass.
So what happened?
So I return it. No harm, no foul. And then a good friend of the band.
So it was you. This was yours.
you.
His mom buys him a new iPod from the store. Gets it home, gives it to him. He opens it up, and I get a text message that says, "Hey, did you return an iPod with Jell-O packet in it?" His mom had bought the iPod. What are
I
the
can't
chances of that?
believe.
The odds of this are astronomical.
Astronomical.
Yeah. I can't believe we finally know who returned the Jell-O packet one, though.
God, that's good.
Unbelievable. It all comes through Atlanta. What a crazy place, man. Lawless.
When you grow up in the suburbs of Atlanta,
Yeah.
Atlanta not being like it's a big city now. Atlanta's massive, and it's brought a lot of industry in the last couple of decades as far as like entertainment and stuff. And it was always an entertainment capital for like the Black community. But for us, we live in the suburbs, man. We don't have access to anything. So we're just, how do you kill time? And you just do dumb stuff.
Stealing stuff, breaking stuff,
Stealing stuff, breaking stuff,
burning stuff.
The first time I ever heard Hatebreed is because we went mailbox bashing with my friends in high school.
Fuck.
And they put it on?
They put it on, and I was like, what is this?
That'll bust any mailbox.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go on a quick tangent about like bad boyhood stuff.
Okay.
Oh my God, dude.
One time, have I ever told the story, Colin, about the Grinch who stole Jesus? Have I told this story?
No.
This is 100% true. My mom can vouch, and a few friends can as well. One year, again, driving age, but underage, we were driving around in our suburb, and we would steal the baby Jesus figurine from people's nativity sets out in their yards. Right?
We did
sometimes it would just be a little baby that came out of the manger, and then sometimes you had to take the whole manger. But it was really satisfying, and there would be this like pop as like you pulled the light bulb out, and it was just like funny.
You guys were addicted to the baby Jesus pop.
Shitty thing to do. I regret it, whatever. But eventually it was like, well, we would put the seat down in the back and throw the baby in the back and then put it back up and keep driving. And eventually we had 3 trash bags full of these baby Jesuses in one night. And
oh my God.
It was like,
was this on the news?
It was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, my mom won't give a shit. Mine. We'll keep it in my garage. Like, we'll figure out something. Maybe we'll use it for like a band thing. It was like, whatever. So we kept them all. Sure enough, later on that week, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, NBC5, Chicago. And there was a news whatever about baby Jesus statues going missing in the area.
You're the Jesus bandit, dude.
We were the Grinches. But I will say, the following year, we put them all in a neat pile in front of a church that like everyone went to in the area. We just put them all back. We didn't know.
We got to find this news story, Steven.
Yeah.
If you find the story, pop it in right here.
Yeah, I hope the statute's up on that one.
I mean, you returned them. You did the right thing.
Yeah. Apologies to the people of Roselle.
It was very Christ-like of you to return it. So
thank you.
It was.
No harm, no foul.
I was definitely a little fucker.
Yeah.
What's a good one? I've told the story about why I got suspended in 4th grade, right?
Remind me. I don't know.
I had a class project that was to start a business. Like everybody, you have to pick a partner and start a business with them. Thomas, if you're pay attention because this is something your kids could do. It was start a business with a buddy, and then everybody in the class has to choose one business to invest in.
Cool.
My class project was a band, which essentially was me and Mike Grinsfelder making a playlist for this kid, Ben. And it was pretty much just like a radio playlist. We made like it was like Disturbed, Blink-182, Smash Mouth, bangers. And in between it, we were just talking shit.
Oh.
All like crazy. Like the craziest shit you've ever heard a 4th grader say.
Yeah, just saying horrible things.
Exactly, 100%.
Into like a boombox or something?
Yeah, we just like pressed record over a tape and then played a song, CKY, into "Fuck you, Ben, you're a little bitch."
So about the kid who's turning in the
it was custom. It was a custom job, dude. I mean, we went above and beyond. And this idiot, we said don't play it in front of your parents. This idiot, Ben, I think his name is Ben Wallace, fucking moron, plays it on the way home with his mom in the car. And we're talking about like the girl he likes, and and we're like, she thinks you're ugly, you fucking loser, bitch. And we get suspended. My mom's in tears in the office. My dad hears it and he's like, that's unbelievable. That's amazing. Just don't do it again. Yeah.
Give me the tape. I'll hold on to it.
Give me the tape. It's hilarious. I wish I still had it. Ben, if you're out there, you fucking bitch. If you still have it, send it over. Send it over. We'll put it in the show.
Thomas, what about you? Pre iPod thing.
I mean, we stole the baby Jesuses.
Did you?
I remember,
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember going to a church that sold Christmas trees. It was like coming back from a show, and I was like, I'm gonna be a family hero. I'm getting a tree this year.
Oh.
Stealing a Christmas tree by shoving it through the hatchback of my car at the time, like into the back seat where the trunk of it is like up next to me while I'm driving. Now, you guys have had real trees at some point in your life. You know how sappy these things are.
Oh my God.
A lot of sap.
My car's ruined.
Little tight.
Like my mom comes up the next day, there's a tree just sitting in the living room on the stand. I'm like, I got the tree. And she was like, wow, thank you so much. And I was like, I was a hero in that moment. Now that she might watch this and see that I stole it.
Yeah.
She's going to be bummed. But
you were a hero for the season, not just in that moment.
You didn't put it through the like tree condom thing either. So when you pull it out, You're going the other way.
No, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's after we got back from a show. I'm just shoving a tree into my car and then driving home like that. My hatchback is just bouncing up and down.
Wow.
You know, I'm like blasting Snapcase. I'm like, yeah, let's go. This is gonna be awesome.
I'm a fucking hero. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Pearson. Your son's a thief.
Little full. A lot of sap.
Just dumb stuff like that. I actually got expelled in high school though.
What did you do?
Now you're cooking with
Here
peanut
we go.
oil.
Here we go.
Yeah. I got sent to the bad alternative kid school. So
Damn.
this would have been like 2000, 2001. This was like the height of the popularity of bands like 18 Vision.
What grade were you in?
I believe I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
So 18 Visions is popular. What color was your belt?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. My belt was a pyramid spike belt, 2 pyramids.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little guy, a short guy.
Yeah, but
Skinny.
with brass knuckles for the belt buckle. And I was like, dude, let's fucking go.
Shirt small enough to sit above the belt buckle?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were all wearing youth long
Thank
shirts.
God.
Yeah.
And like, diesel jeans.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I had that belt with those belt buckles. It was that one. I had a XXX one, and then like a one with a gun that was like smoke this,
Yeah.
And
yeah. Hard.
I had the XXX one, and the way that it dug into my stomach, I think I'm still recovering from.
They're miserable. But the brass knuckles one I'd gotten from a flea market, and they were just real brass knuckles with like a little divot on the end so you can loop it in.
Yeah.
I wore that to school. I'm getting changed during PE. It fucking falls off. Some kid sees it, and I guess he's like, dude, that's a weapon. And he runs and he tells the administration. And I was already on the administration's radar for being a little fucker.
Yeah.
Like my group of friends, like we had convinced that kid Mullet that I was in MDK with to strip down to his underwear and run around the track in like snow.
Classic. It snows down there?
I know not gonna want me to tell the story. Yeah, every once in a while.
Okay.
But I don't even want it. This
is a name I've only heard from Josiah, and it's always like fucking legend.
Well, we're walking to class one day, and I'm so sorry in advance to all the listeners, but the Susan G. Komen like breast cancer walk, like where the women like march together.
Didn't she turn out to be? It turned out to be a scam. The foundation.
Well, they make way more money than they need,
right?
Or what they give.
So don't feel too bad.
But the cancer walk's coming by.
Right.
The women that are there to support each other, their friends who've gotten breast cancer, stuff like that. We're going to class, and response is to just take this carton of milk and just yeet and just launch it.
Oh no!
Thank God it didn't hit anybody, but it landed near someone's feet, it busted and spilled everywhere.
Yeah.
And I get thrown out just for being with them.
Yeah, just for being there.
So I was a little fucker. I was already on the radar.
Yeah. So you bring up now you've committed a federal offense with the brass knuckles.
So this is it all comes full circle. This kid like goes and he tells me like he's got a weapon, and they're like, "Oh, we got you now, Mr. Pearson. Like you're out of here." And my parents, for them like they would advocate for me, but they didn't really understand the severity of the issue. It wasn't explained to them in a way where it was, he brought a weapon to school, that's a felony charge.
Yeah.
And although like we went through the legal process, like I got expelled from school, I had to go to this bad kid school where I was in there with kids who were like asking me to sell them their urine because I told them I was straight edge. They're like, "Yo, will you pee? Can I get that?"
Dude, you can make that's a racket.
I should have. And then like kids who had like half of them had ankle monitors. Like they were in there for assaulting teachers and shit.
Yeah,
sure. And I remember quickly being like, "I'm not supposed to be here." And so I have to go do all this stuff. And then we go to court, we plead it down. But years later, I'm applying for my teaching license. And they're like, have you ever been charged? They don't even care about the conviction part. Have you ever been charged with a felony? And you're asking me to think back 20 years.
Yeah.
Think back through your various felonies.
Yeah, like, well, I don't remember. Like I'm a kid, and my parents.
In your mind, I mean, in the moment, that's a belt buckle.
Yeah, and
you didn't do that.
Yeah, my parents kind of handled the situation, so I wasn't really thinking about it, and they dinged me on that. They were like, "You just lied. You lied to us. you're not getting a teaching license.
Holy
We're not
shit.
gonna let you teach. And I'm like, I swear it was like an accident. And I had to go through these crazy hoops of fires where I had to like contact the DA and get a recommendation letter and had to get all this document. I got the brass knuckles back.
Oh, good. Thank
They
God.
still had them in the file. I've got them in my drawer.
Holy shit. So you could say, like, look at these loops. This is for a belt. This is for a very small belt.
I'm like, are there any 18 Vision fans in here? But maybe someone will understand.
Any obsession guys in the house? Tower Snakes? No?
Nobody. But I remember being like real, when that happened, I was like real depressed because like I'd been going to school and I was like, okay, this is like the next chapter of my life.
Of course.
And it almost didn't happen because of this little fucker incident that wasn't like properly explained to me. I also had to turn myself into jail. They were like, we're not going to like get the cops to come get you. Like, that'll be too much of a scene. Your mom's got to drop you off at the jailhouse. You got to like turn yourself in.
Wow.
And so that was my first time.
The school was,
That was
dude,
my
you
first
left,
time going to jail.
you left the office and they jumped for joy and fucking high-fived each other.
They were like, we got him. Yeah.
Wow.
They were like, they checked me off and they were like, how the fuck are we going to get
They never got him. Pardon this interruption. You would not believe how important this thing we have to tell you is. If you scroll, I'll kill you. So sit back and listen to us tell you about Guilty Party. Oh, look at that beautiful work shirt.
This is
Where's that from?
This is from Guilty Party in Atlanta, Georgia. This is an Ironheart work shirt. It's like a shacket. It's one of my favorite items, and it's finally getting cold enough in Chicago for me to wear it.
And that'll last you the rest of your life, as will pretty much everything at Guilty Party. Guilty Party is the best menswear store in North America.
It is a delight to shop in there. Have you been in there yet physically?
I've never been to the store.
Dude, it is an actual joy. It smells good. It looks good. It's inviting.
And it is owned by none other than Champ Hammett from Foundation, the subject of today's episode.
Wow.
Just the synergy here is off the charts. Listen, if you are a man or you like menswear, you don't have to be a man.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And you care about what you look like, guiltyparty.co has what you need.
100%.
All of our favorite brands, they've got them.
Yep. They got Ironheart, Red Wings, many others.
316. If you use code HardLore, you're getting 10% off. And like 10% off a $300 pair of jeans that's going to last you for the rest of your life.
Pretty good deal.
Good deal. And if it's over $300, you're getting free shipping too.
Wow.
So don't delay. Go to guiltyparty.co, have some damn self-respect, and look like it. Finally. You could also smell like it if you use code HardLore on manscaped.com.
The only thing that I love more than a crisp work shirt is smelling.
Is a delicious fresh nut, right?
Took the words
Bo
right out of my...
loves fresh balls.
Took the words right out of my
everybody
ass.
knows.
Yep, everybody knows it. Many are saying this.
Many are saying Bo loves balls, and the best balls are the ones that are preserved or revived by Manscaped.
Yes.
And this could be you if you use code HardLore. 20% off free shipping. Manscaped.com, site-wide.
20% off and free shipping on anything you can find. Think about that.
Keep them trimmed. Keep them primmed. Keep them unstank. Save money from your bank with code HardLore. 20% off and free shipping. Back to the episode. Let's get into some Foundation lore now here. I feel like it's time. The people have earned it.
Yeah.
Did you know that you're Foundation number 12 on Discogs?
I do know that because I'm
You fucking made it, man. 12 times charm.
Viewer.
Wow.
I think that's something we got to start looking at.
That's
know?
interesting, yeah.
How many harm's ways are there?
Let me check. Go ahead and talk. Let me check.
So Foundation 12 finally makes it. You do a demo, couple 7-inches, and then the Hang Your Head record is where I feel like things really happen. To me, that's like that's a generational classic hardcore EP. Harm's Way 2, Bo says.
Harm's Way 2.
Tell me about putting together Hang Your Head and what you remember from that time, playing shows, writing it, recording it.
Well, can I go back for a second and address the Foundation 12?
Yeah, Foundation 12.
Sure,
tell
yeah,
me.
of course.
Okay. Foundation was not the original name of the band.
Oh, do tell.
The original, okay. I hope you've already taken your socks off because they're about to get blown off. The original name of Foundation was Turnstile. That's a true story after a Hot Water Music song.
Steven, clip that. Really?
Yes. And I was like, that's a cool name. Andrew's huge Hot Water Music fan. I liked him a lot too, but I mean, he's a massive Hot Water Music fan. And I was like, I'm into that. And I think David was also really big. He was our original bass player, one of the founding members. I think he really loved Hot Water Music too. And we were like so kind of hyped on that name. We didn't have like a committed drummer yet. And then when Depression broke up, we asked Champ to join. We're like, well, we're going to get Champ. Like, we're about to solidify this thing.
Holy shit.
And I know Champ's going to be like, that's not what happened. But the way I remember it is Champ was like, I hate that name. And then so we changed it. And Foundation, I don't remember who came up with it, but I do know that Foundation was a band name that I had also kicked around a few times where I was like, that'd be like a good name for like a youth crew band.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Yeah, it is.
So
wow. So Turnstile, you're welcome.
Hey, I mean, hey, they're laughing all the way to the main stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they won that battle.
It suits them so much more.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
That's earth shattering. I had no idea.
That's some real hard lore, if you will.
There you go.
So hang your head. Hang your head. What a record. My God. Tell me about it.
All right. So Hang Your Head is when Hank joined the band.
Hank your head.
Yeah, Hank Your Head. Prior to that, it had been me, Andrew, David on bass, this kid Josh on guitar, and Champ. And I don't know if you've ever heard the Foundation demo or the first 7-inch. It's very tonally different than what we kind of evolved into. It was like, when we started the band, it was like really big into like the new age, like youth crew stuff. So like outspoken, early Strife. Like we want that vibe, like kind of like fast and chuggy, but the guys kind of like talk singing, which I can't fucking do. But I tried to do on the demo. So if you ever hear it, I'm sorry. And so tonally, I think we were going to do that. But then when Hank joined the band, he was, I mean, it's Hank. Like, not only was he into that stuff, but he was also like, I love Indecision as much as I love Madball and Hatebreed.
Right.
And he's like, and I like heavy music. You can still be kind of like fast and be, you know, tonally like what you're trying to represent and still be heavy.
Absolutely. It's important. That's an important thing.
And so, and I knew Andrew had that kind of stuff in the chamber, and I think Hank kind of helped bring that out.
Beautiful.
Where it's like, yo, let's just lean into it.
Writing wise, was it split pretty evenly between Hank and Andrew, or has Andrew kind of always been the writing guy?
I feel like Hank and Andrew write the stuff together.
Okay.
They wrote a lot of the stuff together because, as you know, Hank, not only amazing frontman and guitar player, phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, one of those once in a generation guys who kind of does everything very confidently.
Dude,
now
also,
tattoos.
And now tattoos.
On a Dead in the Dirt, Harm's Way tour with Dead in the Dirt, and he played guitar.
Yeah.
He just filled in. Maybe it was bass, but whatever. He filled in for the tour.
Wait, was he in? He was in Dead in the Dirt, right?
Yeah, he drummed.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah.
A real ingrown. That's a real ingrown situation.
Truly.
But he just,
tell me about the record.
Well, we started writing those songs, and then for me, the song Heartless was like we came to practice, and it was like, hey, we wrote this. And I was terrified. Because that's like
you're like, this fucking rocks.
Well, it's like an ass beater song.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think Bo will understand this. My favorite version of hardcore in a live setting is like the OSPO setting. I want lots of kids piled on, singing along, doing this shit, like double finger pointing and stuff. And I was like, you don't get that with a song like this because I wasn't thinking about bands who do.
Right. They were much less common at that time.
100%.
Today, it's far more.
You can be
common.
both.
You can be both. A little easier, I think.
You can be both, and for sure. And at the time, I was like, this song is like dudes and wife beaters are gonna like throat chop each other to this song.
That's what's up.
I was kind of bummed by that. As a person who loves moshing.
But then it's up. You realize in that moment, it's up to me.
Yes.
Then it's your job to make it both. And you did that, Thomas.
Well, so this is, again, where I'm going to go back to Aaron Bedard.
Okay.
I had a conversation with him one time where he was like, hey, tonally, the music of a song can be this, and lyrically, it can be this. And he's like, and sometimes you get the best results when you have that.
Look at Crown of Thorns, you know?
Dude, that's a great example. That's like the one...
Yeah. We're stabbing, but we're crying too.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
That's what's up.
Even Judge has moments like that.
100%.
Very much
where it's
so.
like, I'm listening to this song and it's like, I can hear tears in this riff.
Yeah.
But I'm punching the guy next to me.
I lost a friend into
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I had to, that song made me go to that place where I was like, I got to understand that it can be two things and that's okay. And it did end up being two things. Kids were absolutely killing each other to that song, but also they would be up front being like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm heartless too.
Well, it sounds like you spent a full week on like gang vocal placements on this record.
Oh, dude. Biggest regret.
Really? Because I noticed there's like none on Turncoat compared to...
And that's very intentional.
Okay.
I look back on it, and the big, boisterous gang vocals on every other line, that's a relic of the era.
Sure.
That was like a relic of like the epic core era, where it's like, brother, where's the gang vocal? How are people going to know when to sing along?
Yeah.
And you know who helped me kind of figure that out was George Hirsch.
Oh, really?
He said, if the line's good enough, you don't need gang vocals. And I was like, fuck. He's right. If it's strong enough and it's good enough, you don't need them. You don't need them.
It's just fun to hear a bunch of guys saying stuff.
Kind of emphasize. Ironically, I think the band that really like cemented it for me as like, oh, this is what everyone's got to do is Comeback Kid, the first Comeback Kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, what is the song? Wake the Dead?
Or even before that, in Turn It Around.
Oh, yeah.
It's like every line has some punctuation with gang vocals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a relic of that time.
It's very
we were on
much,
the,
yeah,
on the end of that timeline, but it was like, oh, we need some gang vocals. Now, I will say that Fireproof, the first song on the record, you almost have to have it for that.
You have to have it. It's just part of that's like the call and response. There is it's as if it's two minds saying.
Yes, and that was kind of the intention. It was to be like call and response, where it's like, hey, my part, your part, my part, your part.
And it's a really easy way of being like, hey, everybody's gonna know these lines. So that's cool.
And like, hey guys, this is the part. You know, like it is very for sure.
It does let people know. It informs them. Like, okay, this is what's gonna be happening in this song.
It can be a little paint by numbers, but it can be very a really good way to kind of break the ice at a show or something too, like to get people participating in like the best way, you know.
For sure. I'm not going to argue that. And so Hang Your Head was definitely like the transition period of the band. I think everyone can see that if you look at the demo and the first 7-inch. It's like, this is what they were, this is where they're going. So I felt like it was kind of like a good evolutionary step without just like putting out the first 7-inch and then jumping to like When the Smoke Clears, where it'd be like, wait, what's this? It's like we're getting some darker themes here. We're gonna be kind of like, I want all the OSPO energy, but aesthetically and musically, we're gonna be the antithesis of that.
And you nailed it.
Thank you.
I think you're right. A few years later, your debut LP, your only LP, When the Smoke Clears, comes around. And I remember talking to Andrew when you guys were putting it together. He was exhausted. I was like, yeah, man, we're writing an LP. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of songs. He couldn't believe how many songs it was. Tell me about When the Smoke Clears. All-time opening track. It is amongst definitive modern straight edge music. How was it for you guys doing that many songs one single time?
It's excruciating. I mean, I hear you guys talk about it almost every. I just listened to the Alec episode yesterday, and there's so many times there where I'm just like, yeah, fuck, dude, an LP is so much.
It's torture.
It's daunting.
I'm going tangent with this, but like, did you guys watch the Get Back documentary with the Beatles?
Yeah,
of course.
Where they're just sitting in the room and kind of like noodling and shit. and I've never felt more seen than watching that part where it's like, God, that's fucking excruciating. I get why Ringo's not showing up until fucking 3 o'clock. Like,
but you know, we do that unsuccessfully. They write Get Back.
Oh, well, that is the beauty of it. It's like he's just sitting there and he just hammers that riff out.
It's
but
crazy.
Also imagine like there's that part where he's playing that and they all start jamming. John shows up and just starts riffing. He's watching George. He just starts playing along. Imagine having an environment where you could just go into a room and everything's set up for you every day. And
yeah, exactly.
And you're getting millions.
Yeah.
like it's so.
I'd be on LP 31. You know?
As opposed to like the pressure of like we're writing this in a cramped fucking shared practice space.
Were you in the storage unit?
Yes,
dude.
Like, oh no,
These
we were
guys-
at
Colin-
the not the storage unit. We were at that place, the shop.
Oh, okay.
But we were sharing the unit with like 4 other bands.
Yeah.
So you barely got room to stand up because there's 18 cabs in there. Like
The
2 drunk
storage
kids.
unit that they practiced in. It was like a metal like U-store Harm's Way practiced in it before their last show just to go over our set, and it was one of the craziest sounding, most brutal.
Horrible.
It's just metal and cement.
Just sound stabbing you in the ears.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's just that rippled metal, and that's it.
Anyway, sorry. But yeah.
No, it's okay.
Back to
that
the
was
LP.
towards the end of the band when we were like, we don't need a practice space anymore.
Right.
And it was like, well, let's just keep something. You never know.
What do you remember from the response to the record? Because I think I seem to remember it doing well, and that was early 2010s, mid 2010s. Were that was the beginning of the era of like, we don't like your new record, so we don't like you anymore. Where there's a lot of pressure of like, if
The
this one
follow-up.
doesn't deliver, we suck now, I guess.
That was a scary time for sure.
It was.
And I remember being scared that would happen. I felt like these were our best songs musically. I just have to say I always felt like the outsider in the band. Like I was always watching them do stuff because I don't have a musical bone in my body. I can't write anything. The most I could offer our practice was like a hum, or be like, that one part in that one song. What if we had something like that?
Yeah.
That's the most I can do. So I would always look at those guys and just be like, wow, I can't believe they wrote that.
Sure.
Those guys are fucking geniuses.
At your own practice, like, these guys are pretty good.
I still stand by that. I still think
they
those are
are
some of the
very good.
most talented musicians I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe I know them and I've been friends with them. It's like it's incredible.
And now one of them owns the best menswear store in America, Guilty Party. Can you believe that?
I can because Champ has always had immaculate taste.
That is true.
When we were calling him Champ Nudies, we were laughing, but he was planning.
Dude,
He was laughing to the bank.
He was playing his sets in jeans that were more expensive than my guitar
in
setup.
Ironhearts.
Yeah.
The shit
Fucking
that Champ
15
would
years
wear.
ago.
Yeah.
The shit he would wear on tour, I'm like, how are you doing that?
I don't know.
How are you doing that? I can't.
Doesn't bother me.
I'm a boot guy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's well documented. My first pair of Red Wings ever purchased via Champ's employee discount.
Let's go.
I remember, Thomas, do you remember when I came up with you guys? We're fast forwarding a little bit for the Comeback Kid tour. Came up with you guys to Madison, and we went to like a denim store.
Yes,
I
do
forget
remember
what it
this.
was called, but I'm realizing now that surely planted some seeds in Champ's head because it was kind of a similar store.
Anytime we were on tour, and we'll come back to when the smoke clears, I promise.
Yeah.
But anytime we would go on tour, it was always like 2 camps. It would be like Andrew's camp of like, let's go explore the city or let's go do this outdoorsy thing. And then Champ's camp of like, where's the good coffee spot and where's the closest clother or I don't know what you call that.
Taylor.
And
I love him.
and I always went with Champ for some reason because I wanted the coffee.
Yeah.
But I remember like going to Blue and Green for the first time and being like, damn, these are expensive jeans.
Yeah. $100 for a shirt?
That
Little
just
did
blew
you
my
know.
mind.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
One of the Smoke Clears, pretty good record. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about putting it together. Tell me about the reception. Tell me about touring on it.
Where'd you record it?
With this dude named Matt Washburn at this place called Lead Belly. It's where we had
Sounds
recorded,
fantastic.
Sounds great.
Well, it's where we recorded our first 7-inch and where we recorded the song for the first America's Hardcore comp, the first Devotion.
Devotion 1.
And we liked, I think we liked the way those came out because we ended up going back. I think
Right.
one of the problems with Hang Your Head is like, and some people would argue that's why they like it because it sounds so raw, but we just felt like the production wasn't there. And this is also a relic of the era where it's like, we need this record to sound produced.
Yeah, sure.
And so Matt was the guy you would go see to get that effect because like he kind of knew what he was doing, at least in the local Atlanta area.
Yeah.
So we recorded with him. The process was they wrote a bunch of songs. We had like 3 in the canon maybe. And we had a few songs that we had already written. We put it out with Sam, the Never Stops Raining 7-inch, and we were like, well, we're going to reuse those songs. Like they're too strong not to reuse them. And so we had like maybe 3 or 4 songs. And then they slowly started piecing everything together. Like at practice, they were like, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this. It was like basically Hank and Andrew like jamming stuff out. And then we would show up. Like they would always meet like an hour or 2 hours before. And then we would show up and they'd be like, hey, we kind of have this. And then we would put a song together. Or they would. And I would just be thinking about different lines or topics
Limericks?
or things like that. Yeah, but I'll be honest, I was never the guy that was just like, and then I'll say this here, and then I'll say this here. I was actually bad at that. Hank had to help me with that.
Really?
Again, yeah, Hank was like No Cure for Fools is a prime example. I didn't know how to do like fast singing because we were always like kind of fairly mid-tempo.
Kind of mid-tempo, sure.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, you got to do it like Josta would. Not even joking. Like how Hayfree would do it.
WWJD, baby.
Like, and he'd be like, so, and then he would just kind of like mumble it. He'd be like, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then that would click for me, like I would understand.
Gotcha.
And so he helped me put that together. I always kept like lyric books. Like I'm like, I want to use like these type of lines or have a song about this. I just couldn't place it initially. It took me until Turncoat to figure that out. So we would show up, they would have this stuff, and then it was like we would always do like very rudimentary demos. This is before everybody was like recording it on their phone. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, put your phone up and just hit record, and then we'll take it home.
Or just going
yeah. And then I would go home and then try to write lyrics to it, and that was the most frustrating part. I remember multiple times just being like, I can't do this. Like, I'm a fool. I'm an idiot. 10 songs of lyrics? Who can do that?
That is a lot.
It sucks.
And then when you're thinking about the longevity of a band, I'm not gonna lie. Like I wasn't trying to go for broke on the lyrics either.
Sure.
I'm like, well, I want to have something for later.
Yeah.
Not understanding that like ideas come to you your whole life.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And
burn it while you got it, dude.
Damn.
That's what I think you got to do. You got to burn it when it happens. Right? Like write it all the way out. Something will happen later.
I have forgotten more great ideas than I will ever realize, and that's on me.
Yeah. If I'm like walking around town, I'm like, oh fuck, that would be like a good thing for a song. I got to put it in my phone like immediately, like my notepad.
That's real. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Keep a pad, keep a journal, do those stupid, embarrassing voice memos. You will use them someday.
You're not wrong. You'll absolutely use them. So that was kind of the process. Got the lyrics down, and then me and Hank very quickly in like one night tried to demo the vocals, and that was miserable. That was like my voice was shot. So there's like, I'm like, but at least we kind of had the layout for it.
You got any of those still?
Hank might, because he had like a 4-track at the time.
Hank,
I could do everything.
Hank, we're gonna need those for this. Here they
are. So that was kind of what we brought to the table, and then we went to Matt to record, and then it was like they finished everything they had to do, and then it was my turn, and I blew my voice out the first day.
Perfect.
So we had to wait and then go back, and that's what took the longest was me just vocally trying to get it done.
It happens, so.
Damn.
I know, but it was the first time where I was like, I had one fucking job.
Yeah.
Like I had one job and I blew it for the band.
But
it's not. It's just that's the nature of what we do.
Who knows what's going on in there?
Exactly.
But again, it was like, God forbid we had like gone out of town to record.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that would have been a tragedy.
Yeah, true. Just burning money. I've never in my life lost my voice doing backups for Harm's Way ever. Or the Common Suffering headliner, night 1.
And the whole time, right?
And it was the whole fucking tour.
Yeah.
It just happens. I don't know. No rhyme or reason for me.
It's a muscle. You know, it's super weird. It needs training.
Well, it's a muscle that I still get to use in my current profession.
You be yelling a lot? How do the kids feel about you, Thomas? They like you?
I think I'm a generally well-liked teacher.
Okay.
I would consider myself a man about town in my school. I actively go out of my way to kind of just like meet kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got in the profession, is I wanted to work with like young people, not talk to their parents all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, what's up there, little soul? And they're like, hey, cool. All right, see you later.
Any corpsmen?
There was a kid last year that I had, 2 years ago, that came to school in a Bane shirt.
Okay.
And I was like,
And you were like, here we go.
I was like, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
What do you know about Bane? But other than that, no, it's kids on a completely different end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I use it because I have to speak very elevated in the classroom. You need to be able to hear me in the back of the room. And then coaching, of course. I actually just got huge compliments this weekend. They're like, you have a great coaching voice.
What do you coach?
Cross country and track.
Wow.
So like this weekend, we were down in South Georgia at the coast doing a race. And like I was helping the high school team, actually. Like a bunch of my kids feed into this program, so I was kind of supporting them. But the kids I'm not that familiar with were like, hey, you have a great coaching voice. I could hear you like 200 meters out. And like that really kind of kept me motivated when the race was happening. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And even the other coach was like, how do you do that? I want to be like,
You don't want to know, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 years.
10 years of a hardcore band.
You're not using your stomach enough.
You got any prospective spin kickers on the cross country squad?
No, not a one.
Not a
Brutal,
one.
dude.
Kid, the very young generation right now, they're not that aggressive. They're a little more, they want to be peaceful.
Oh, interesting. I myself once dabbled in pacifism.
Yeah, kind of.
How can you be a skibbity sigma if you're peaceful? If you have no skibbity riz, how are you going to be?
Because they're all just joshing. They're capping. They don't want to. You know. I mean, realistically, anytime a fight does break out at my school, it's because two friends were joshing each other too hard, and the other one was like, didn't want to admit they were in their feelings and stop it from happening.
Right.
And then it got carried away.
You break up a lot of fights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be because they wait for you to come when they start fighting, right? They're like,
100%.
oh, he's here. Now I can swing.
Yes, because there's safety there. They want to
How
like,
interesting.
oh, you're lucky that coach grabbed me.
Yeah.
That's a tale as old as time, though.
Just bodying kids out there, though.
Well, not bodying them, but I definitely a couple of years ago grabbed a kid by his like shirt collar and his waistband and like tossed him like you would see like in an old Tex Avery cartoon. Like
You DJ Jazzy Jeffed him out of the,
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Tell me about the tours you did between Hang Your Head and When the Smoke Clears.
I can tell you about 4.
Dude, well, so right after Hang Your Head came out, that was like all right, we're going on tour, and we did the Pray for America tour.
Yeah.
Was that no, wait.
No, we did.
We did the Title Fight tour. Wait, shit. Were you on the Title Fight tour?
Convicted was.
Thinking
Convicted
about what a Title Fight Foundation tour would gross in 2024. Yeah, that would play MSG, dude.
I firmly believe that Title Fight would play MSG.
I think the comeback show could sell out MSG.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
It's going to happen. Maybe. I don't know.
Shane, if you're listening.
Well, I just saw Shane in Vegas a couple weeks ago. It was me, Kei Yasui, and Shane. And me and Kei are like elbowing each other. And then we're elbowing Shane like,
Huh?
huh?
The Trinity.
Let's see. We did. It was Backtrack Foundation Harm's Way at that
Best tour of my life.
That Rainfest year.
Yeah.
Was that the Pray for America tour? Yeah, it had to have been.
That was the Pray for America, because that's when we would have the roadie road trips, because one of our vans would break down and all the roadies would sacrifice themselves and stay behind to ride in that van.
Yeah, but Backtrack had 6 roadies. They had a
But
tech
we were
per
also
member.
stupid like that. You guys were the smartest band.
We never brought anybody.
No,
We
you
still
won't,
don't.
because you
To this
understood the
day.
importance.
Yeah, to this day.
There's 2 things that Harm's Way understood: the importance of legroom and to actually like, I don't know, maybe keep a spreadsheet of how much shit costs and how much you're paying for things.
Pretty fiscally minded.
Yeah.
And that tour started at Rainfest. So we all had to get to fucking Seattle.
Brutal.
Foundation is from the other corner.
So that means day one of that tour, Thomas, you guys got banned from REI? Interesting. You want to tell us about that?
I'm not going to speak on that because there's parties involved that, you know.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, tell me about the party involved, you know? Thomas, we'll say Thomas was banned from REI.
So Thomas was a wheelman.
Okay.
Sure.
That's what they all say. That's what the leaders always say.
But no, like Bo's not wrong. We would do dumb shit like, oh, the tour starts in Rainfest. Should we book shows on the way? Nah, we'll just drive out there.
Nah, I gotta work.
Yeah. I'm gonna work my very low income job up to the moment we leave.
And then
Classic.
it was Backtrack's van died?
Yeah, Backtrack's van died, so we had to like
everybody
divvy them up.
And you guys had the loft van, no?
Yeah, we did have a loft, which we thought was genius and was just miserable anytime you had to get in it.
Yep. It scared me too. I didn't like watching you guys get in there.
No, and I feel like when we built the loft, it was slightly leaned forward.
Oh, perfect.
Oh no.
Your legs were always elevated up, and your head was
God.
always elevated down.
Just head rush.
So it's lean forward this way?
Yeah,
Or that way?
like you're gonna fall into the back bench.
Perfect.
Also, one thing I loved about Foundation that we learned right away was you guys were always spottable because you'd always have shit hanging off the back drying as you were driving. 100%. 100% of the time. There was zero delineation from that. It was always clothes
we'd have like
dry.
our shirts and pants and everything else hanging off the back.
Towels and
the
all
back
kinds
door.
of shit.
What'd you say?
It's just towels and all kinds of stuff like that, you know?
I really like the last show shirt evolving throughout the tour
Yes.
of the van getting more and more fucked up.
Yes.
That was good. It was a good touch. That was real too. That seemed like a thing that would actually happen to you guys.
Well, dude, we Champ bought that van, and then not only was it the Foundation van, but it was like the local neighborhood vehicle for everyone that lived at the Wyford house.
Fuck yeah.
You would like come out and be like, "Where's the van?" And like Ryan Wood had driven it to go somewhere.
I love that, dude. We use our van for shit all the time. I moved my mom to and from Dallas with our van.
That was just James's car for a while, right?
Yeah, mine too. Until it got stolen.
Still is, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell me about some incidents on that tour. What you got for me? What comes to mind?
Dude,
You said it's the best tour of all time. What happened?
It was the best tour of all time because, okay, I think one anecdote will give you the tone of the entire tour. We play Idaho. It's Boise, right, Bo?
It was Boise,
we think
Idaho.
we're playing Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
We get to the show. There's like a truck parked outside the venue with like a big sign that's like written with like an expo marker. It's like Harm's Way Foundation Backtrack tonight. We're like, okay, cool. Go in the venue. And I shit you not, this bar is like a bar, and then the back half of it is the size of the Masquerade upstairs. Like the old Masquerade.
Yeah.
It is fucking massive. And at that time, even on our most popular day, we're maybe filling a 200 cap room.
Maybe, dude. Maybe.
This is in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
There are exactly 10 kids there.
Right.
So we go outside and we say,
Charlie from all of Ingrown is there.
Yeah. Well, we go outside and we literally just talk to the kids. We go, hey, this show's probably going to be bad. How about you guys just come hang out with us at the park and we'll play wiffle ball?
Actually, not to contradict, but a weird thing happened where, although that truck was there, and I think I even have a picture of it somewhere.
Yeah.
The venue had it misscheduled.
Oh, that's right.
And there was no, like, they were like, oh, we don't have like staff. Like, there's no one doing sound. Like, we can't do a show tonight.
Yeah.
So it was just like a misscheduling. And then we did indeed invite the few people who showed up to go play wiffle ball with us. And we just went to a park nearby and played wiffle ball until the sun went down.
It was awesome.
It was fucking dude.
Best day of tour.
Dude.
And I think we still sold like $100 of merch. It was like,
Yeah, the kids still bought merch.
I was like, this is the best day of tour because this is all you want to do on tour anyways. Go to a park and play wiffle ball with your friends.
Colin,
that was the best part of the Rainfest that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about the group of Backtrack plus like Seeley, Big Brett, Josiah was there.
Reggie McCafferty, I think,
Reggie was
well.
there. And then all the Foundation and then Harm's Way. Like that's a group
That's a
you would
great
hang
game.
out with
And,
today.
and this is the Backtrack era where Lopez and Jay Cox, I believe, are still in the band as well.
Yeah. So it was just like everybody got along immediately. Like day one, it was like we're all cool.
It was like,
Everybody's
you guys
cool.
want to go get coffee? Yes.
Yes.
And then 35 people roll up. That's awesome.
Do you guys want to play wiffle ball in Ogden, Utah? Yes.
Oh God, I'll take me back to the Nickel Arcade.
Yeah, dude.
And I'll hang out there all day.
It was so awesome. And
that was
then,
the first tour that like wasn't a good tour, like as far as like the shows and stuff, but we had fun.
It didn't
was
matter.
like, who gives a shit? Like we're hanging out with fun people. That's when about a year ago, I was making a tiered touring band list. Like who's an S tier band to tour with? Harm's Way became S tier.
Let's go.
Because of that tour. I was like, I'll tour with those guys any day of the week.
They might be the only S for me.
And then remember the last day, Big Brett and James sumo wrestled in the middle of the street as the rest of the tour was completely shirtless and cheering in the middle of the street in Little Rock.
Who won?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I think Big Brett won, but James did not.
He is Big Brett.
He's Big Brett, but
He's
James
Big Brett.
did not do.
He's
James
Big
did
Brett.
not do bad. He did not do bad.
I mean, that dude, the low center of gravity.
Yeah, exactly. I think I could be misremembering, but I think
It's the irresistible force versus the immovable object.
yeah,
truly,
yeah.
you know.
I have an incredible picture of all of us too. Afterwards, I'll send it to Steven.
Here it is, Steven. It wasn't that great.
Wow.
No, that was the tour of like, let's play wiffle ball. Let's find a swimming pool immediately. Like we just have to go swimming because it's the era of every hardcore band is on the road constantly. So every place is overplayed.
Yeah,
Dude.
And so no one's that excited to see a band when they come to town. I get it now.
Yep.
And it's like we're filling our time. Like we just got to find something to do.
yeah.
And those guys always wanted to do something. That was also the tour where I think the last show we ate at IHOP afterwards, and then we tried to dine and dash, but for some reason, like somebody stayed inside. And the woman was like,
Thomas, you're about to hear the real story for the first time.
Yeah, I will commandeer this story, Thomas.
okay.
It was a Denny's, and for some reason, this Denny's had like a meeting room. It was like attached part of the restaurant, but it was like literally for like the local town, whatever, like the civil whatever would gather there, decide their shit. Because at my seat, it was shaped like a U, and I'm at the bottom of the U. At my seat, there's a gavel.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm hearing people and I'm giving judgment, and you know we're all fucking around. It's the end of tour. We're all having a good time. Everybody orders, and literally 30 fuckers, you know, are ordering. And yes, a certain band dined and dashed. 2 other bands did not dine and dash.
Well, those 2 other bands don't like to have fun like the other bands.
and the 2 other bands, well, particularly somebody who I don't even think was in either band, paid for it.
We paid that person back though.
Yeah. It's all good. It became a funny, like, you guys dined and dashed on a 30-person bill without telling anyone? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I do remember you having the gavel because we played telephone.
Yeah, we did play telephone.
At the table.
Things got bad. We shan't.
Some people might have got their feelings hurt.
Yeah,
it happens.
It happens. Telephone's a dangerous game in real life.
It really
and,
is, man.
Yeah,
and it's a good metaphor of life, you know?
it really is.
Telephone.
It really is terrifying.
Who knows?
That was also the tour that the third time that somebody broke down. I think it was our band this time. Was in the middle of Arizona, and I think Marissa was driving to Atlanta to move from California. Like Champ and Marissa were like kind of like finalizing that, and they had to like leave to go pick a part up in the next town and bring it back to us, to this guy who just happened to have a garage in his like personal house in this nowhere town in the middle of New Mexico And I remember ice cream truck drove by, and we were like, let's get some ice cream. Like,
Dude,
this is a miserable day. And we're all like getting ice creams. And then Andrew asks the guy, he's like this older guy, kind of like, just sun weathered. He's got like a straw hat. And he goes, hey buddy, you want some ice cream? It's on me. And he goes, like very like solemnly, he goes, no, I'm dying. I've got diabetes.
Oh, damn.
Just like that.
Yo, real quick. What's your ice cream man go to? When that truck's outside, we'll do the Golden Arches question, but for ice cream, every ice cream available ever is on the side of the truck. He's got it.
When I was a kid or now?
Right now.
Now I like a bomb pop.
Dude, bomb pops are good.
They're good.
They're tasty.
Good.
Colin?
No hesitation, Choco Taco.
Love a Choco Taco.
Wow.
That's I think it's one of the greatest sweet treats ever concocted.
There's a place in Chicago at Parlor Pizza that does modern Choco Tacos. Like, and all done up. It's crazy. My choice would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles popsicle.
See, when I was a kid, that's the stuff I liked.
I love those. To this day, I think they're so fucking good.
Anything with that hard-ass gumball.
Yeah, when they're all crazy looking. We did... Thomas, what was the tour where we played? Title Fight had a record release in Atlanta at something Unicorn.
No. That was the Hang Your Head record
I'm so
release.
sorry. You're absolutely right. Of course.
And Title Fight skipped a show to come play it.
To be able to play it.
Yeah, it was Brace War. Dude, this was like, you couldn't make this lineup now. Like, it was Alpha and Omega, Brace War, Convicted, Harm's Way, Naysayer, Foundation, Title Fight playing a Frostbite song.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Bad Seed might have played a couple songs too, just because they happened to all be there. And then did maybe Gypsy played a few songs?
Dude,
I think Foster and Alex were there as well.
Gypsy was on a couple of those shows. Yeah,
that's what that was the tour where we came up with that "I got your back till the end" slogan. And Alex left me a note. I had to go to work. Like we were home for one day, and it was like I had to go to work for some reason. I don't know why I agreed to do that. I was a fucking idiot. And I went to work, and they all went to the World of Coke. And I came home, and Alex had written a handwritten note on my door.
What's funny is Convicted in Harm's Way went to the World of Coke that day. Also, we did the whole thing where you try all the various flavors, and then you leave with a couple of glass bottles. We thought, like, let's drink them on stage. Be fucking dude. One of the
hottest show you ever played.
Coke Heavies. At the hottest show I've ever played, I went into diabetic shock. Like, it was terrible.
Dude, I've only done Stage Soda one time. It was Sound and Fury 2016. And I was doing full heavy Dr. Peppers during the set.
Oh my God.
After the set, I see a Facebook comment that says, the singer of Twitching Tongues looks like he eats a box of Krispy Kreme donuts every day.
How accurate was that, too?
Oh, I mean... it like I did look like I ate a box of Krispy Kreme. I wasn't. In a perfect world, I would have been.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
It deeply upset me.
So the World of Coke is, it's like, I think Atlanta's just full of dumb tourist stuff, but I'm like, you got to go to the World of Coke.
Oh, it's awesome.
Because Coke is the best product on earth.
Of course.
Dude, the Puppet Museum is amazing.
What?
You ever been there?
Yeah, I've been there. I have 2 small children.
Place is amazing. Dude, they had a fucking...
they have the Jim Henson stuff there.
Yeah, that's incredible. I went and saw that exhibit. It was
especially from like Labyrinth. Like, it's pretty sick.
That makes sense.
Yeah, how are you going to just not... You just say, yeah, I guess it's cool. That place is amazing.
Thomas, we did another tour with Foundation riding out Harm's Way, which was also a good tour. That was more East Coast, I think, right? And like Montreal.
East Coast and Southeast, because we went down to South Florida.
And Canada. I think that was our first time in Canada.
It might have been.
Or early on, at least.
Those were great shows.
That was kind of that was like, hey, everybody, all the work we've all been doing is kind of paying off, you know?
Yes, that was the first time I was like, oh, maybe somebody gives a shit.
Yeah, yeah. I remember those very fondly. We played a lot of wiffle ball.
Yes.
This is post When the Smoke Clears?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like LP's out. You've been a band for 7 years or something? 6 years?
LP's out. We've died in Europe. We came back to the States where they had open arms waiting for us. They said, welcome back to America.
They said, welcome home. Yeah.
Tell me about Foundation's European tours.
Yeah, please.
God. So the first time we went with Brace War, which I love Brace War as a band and the people.
Was this when somebody said, Brace War, you come too late?
I was just about to tell
Foundation, you come too early.
Yes. Like literally the second show in, this guy was just like, to Brace War, because it was like after like the first 7-inch and stuff, and they were kind of like coming back. It's when they released that really good song on the 6 Feet Under comp.
Right.
And they were coming back, and yeah, the guy goes, "You've come too late to Brace War," and then he looks at us and he goes, "And you've come too early."
Well, we're here now, you fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
my
fucking
God.
here now. And we went to Europe in the winter.
Rookie
I had to lean
mistake.
into the mic for that one, which was like, what the fuck were we thinking?
Yeah, we all did.
We've all done it.
We did
I
it.
take that over Brutal Summer, though.
But it's a trap. Because
It's
at
a
least in
trap.
the summer, you can like stop at a jaunty little river.
A village.
And the shows are good.
Yeah, the shows are better for
The shows
sure.
are good.
At winter, they don't leave. They're villages.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
I know.
And it's too cold to go outside to get some air from all the cigarette smoke.
Oh.
Because they can smoke in all the fucking...
Is that still going on,
Venues.
Bo?
It's better now.
Good.
There's less smoke now for sure.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I'm sick and I can't speak.
Yeah.
Day 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
How
that was
many
definitely...
times? How many times did
So
you go?
good tour.
I'll say that we had a couple of good shows, and there were some great people that we
Yeah.
met out there.
That's how it is.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
People who really took care of us when we came through. And so, yeah, I mean, that it is what it is. It wasn't a great tour, but it wasn't abysmal. But it's like all you ever hear about are the bands that go in the summer and do the fest circuit, and they're like, oh, it's going to be a great time. Like, shows will be good. Da, da. But when you go there in the wintertime, it's not a great time.
No, and you know, and we joke about it all the time, but we gotta like the people that do show up and that you make these relationships with at these random little village shows, and then you are friends with them your entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable, but that is a real.
It's a real thing.
That breakdowns have led us there. You know,
Of course.
Oh
100%.
yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
like, it's always a retrospectively you look at it and go, I'll do that again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But in the time, you're just like, oh, like what, like you know, there's like a myth being sold about this, and it's just not real. But at the same time, when you tour Europe, they do take care of you.
Yeah.
And at that time in the U.S., you'd be looked at like an asshole if you asked for some peanut butter and bread.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
There's a financial aspect of that where I don't need the promoter in the U.S. to take care of me because La Quinta has got me.
Right.
There's a difference, and yes, you do get taken care of often,
Yeah.
but it's not. We've talked about the thing where it's like if they have guaranteed money because something is subsidized from the government as a youth activity, they're not that worried about how well the show does because they don't
Right.
have to be.
Yeah.
So it's
And
kind
then, you
of-
know, in that subsidization, there is money set aside for breakfast, and in the morning you get a bag of sliced watermelon. It is your right to throw that bag of sliced watermelon as far as it can possibly go.
Oh, shit.
But circling back, of course, the relationships you make. Or, dude, Colin, think about the Bulgarians.
Those are our people.
Those are the best people on earth.
Those are Americans. To
Yeah,
me.
straight up.
They live here. Those are my close personal friends. Now, Thomas, you ever get some bread and peanut butter in Japan?
I have had some bread and peanut butter in Japan. Well, there was no bread, just peanut butter.
Just a jar of peanut butter, Foundation and Title Fight on tour. Is that correct?
Correct.
How was that?
Delicious.
The whole jar was good.
So the tour with Title Fight was phenomenal. Thank God they looked at us and said, "All right, you sad son of a bitches." Like, and we got that announcement that we were going with them while we were in Europe.
I remember that announcement. I remember seeing I think Foundation was like the first band of our era to go to Japan.
Yeah, and I was so
of
excited.
heavy, you know, so not including Title Fight, not including something that's a little adjacent, but like I remember seeing that and being so jealous, like being so envious that you guys got to go.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah. It was at the time, it was a serious accomplishment.
And then while you're doing that, you make this rookie mistake of eating this poor lady's entire jar of peanut butter.
Oh, we made lots of mistakes on that trip.
Oh.
I mean, I had just come off of my vegan vacation. I'd been eating vegetarian for a couple of years, and I'd come back to being vegan. And Hank was vegan, and we're just like, well, what the fuck do we eat here?
Oh,
Nothing.
man.
Nothing. So we're eating rice balls out of the 7-Eleven every single
Those
day.
are good, though.
They're fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wish that your 7-Elevens here had something that good.
We're getting there. It's going to happen.
They're coming.
I hope so.
But here's the thing. The egg sandwich already came, and it's not the same.
Of course it's not. It's all made different. Yeah.
It's brutal, man.
It's
they don't
less
even cut the
efficient.
crust off.
They expect you to eat your own crust?
It's bullshit.
The Japan tour was awesome. The shows were great. The bands we played with were awesome. We got to play with the Yusuke's band, and I mean, Yusuke filled in for us for an entire tour.
Wow. Who couldn't go?
That was the tour that, oh shit, someone in the band right now is just like, dude, how did you forget that I wasn't on that tour?
See, it happens.
I think it was Hank. I think Hank had to go home and do something, and he joined us much later.
Okay.
Brutal.
And so Yusuke joined us very last second. Like, he learned the songs in Sam's apartment, I think.
Wow.
And we were like, I don't remember how we met Yusuke on the Half Heart tour. And we're like, hey, we're going to go on tour with Bane after this. I don't think he was going to do it. But his friend, I think oh God, I'm blanking on the names now.
It's okay.
His friend was also over there, and his friend was like, dude, you got to go do this. You're over here for like another 2 months. You got to go do this. And he agreed to come with us. And it was like, he got kind of us out of a situation.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because we, like,
Ate all the peanut butter?
no, this is before we went to Japan.
Oh, okay.
This was on the Bane tour we did right after the 8 other tours we had done that summer.
Right.
And he learned all the songs, and he was just awesome to be on tour with. And that's kind of like maybe why we got to go to Japan, is because we kind of had an in. He probably went over there and like vouched for us. Like,
yeah,
I know, like, you guys maybe aren't like this band's not really on your radar that much. They're getting there. He's like, I swear, like, they're awesome dudes, and they're going to put on a good show.
Beautiful.
I like to believe that. I don't know.
Wow.
He was a sick dude.
We'll say he did.
Yeah. So we go over there, and we have awesome shows. The show in Tokyo is probably still one of my top 5 shows of all time. One of those shows where you're like actively looking around, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
How did I do that? How is this real?
Happen?
How is this real? We're into, and these kids are going insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Beautiful.
I got something. I've been decorating my apartment. It's something that I think bands need to start doing. Something I think we need to bring back into the zeitgeist. Little joint posters. You got the Isolation Clouds with the drummer boy.
Beautiful.
This one's going up on the wall, of course. But I just thought I'd
Was that a last show themed?
No, that was on the tour.
That was the Pray for America tour, I think.
I think so.
No.
Well, there was a
Pray for
shirt.
America was Hang Your Head, I think.
Yeah, there was a shirt for that.
That might have been the shows that we did with Rotting Out.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And we just someone just like made that, and it was just like, yeah, we have these.
That was the tour where we played like that weird town in like where Kentucky and West Virginia meet. Nitro?
Lexington.
What was it called?
Lexington.
No, it wasn't Lexington. It was like Nitro or something.
Oh, after United Blood, it was Nitro, West Virginia.
Yeah, and it was like a VFW hall or something.
Yep.
And somebody had literally thrown a banana peel on the ground, and then Chris slipped on it.
Chris Smith? Chris Mills?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Awesome.
I forgot about that.
You wait your whole life for something like that.
It's very true.
Speaking of bananas, tell me about the banana microphone incident, Thomas.
I don't know. I think it was the Bane Code Orange tour. They came to Atlanta and played a show. We're kind of like, even not just for local shows, but like we're kind of getting to that like point where it's like we know not that we know, but if we play a show, it's like we're gonna get a good reaction.
Sure. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. So we get like a crazy reaction. The mic gets ripped out of my hands, and it's gone for like half the song. If you've never noticed this about me, if I'm not actively singing the words in the moment, I get lost in the song.
Oh, Oh.
There's been multiple times where I'll be talking and Andrew will kick in the opening riff for No Cure for Fools.
Yeah.
And I won't hear it, but I'll hear Champ come in, and by that time, it's too late.
You're
Wow.
fucked.
I've like missed the mark, and I'm like, fuck, and I have to go like an entire 2 verses before I can come in. And so I'm like lost in the sauce, like I don't even know what to do here. And I remember the venue had like given bananas, and there was just like a thing of bananas in there. So I just grab one, boop, pop it off, and I'm just pointing it out at kids, and they're singing into it.
Fuck yeah.
Like grabbing my arm, like, oh,
For how long?
like the rest of the song.
Fuck yeah.
And Matt Miller is, excellent photographer. He's on the side. He's just snapping pictures, and we get this great picture of like me pointing this banana out. Everybody singing along, but nobody known it had happened until he posted the pictures.
Oh, that's
I'll
beautiful.
need that to show the people right now.
Hey,
Please
wow.
send it over.
I don't know how I would find it. Contact Matt. He's got the high res copy, 4K.
Banana Mike.
But then
Tell
it
me
turned
about
into.
what?
I was gonna say, but then it turned into a thing that when Caleb was singing for AOP, he pulled the same gimmick at I think like America's Hardcore Fest or something. Like he did the same thing where he was
He
like,
immortalized the Banana Mike.
yeah, lost the mic and was just like, fuck it, there's a banana right here. I'll just point that out.
How are all these bananas near the stages?
It doesn't
I don't
make
know.
sense.
I remember when Gorilla Biscuits played the Wrecking Ball, I went to the grocery store and bought like dozens
Well,
of
they're
bananas
gorillas. That makes sense.
so that we could throw them when they were playing. Which was a terrible idea because an unpeeled banana being thrown is like hurts.
Yeah. That's,
Well, I got the idea because when we were younger, Saves the Day had played at the Masquerade, and it was on the Can't Hardly Wait tour.
fuck yeah.
And
Can't slow down.
if you remember, no, Can't
Slow
Hardly
Down.
Wait.
Great movie.
Yeah.
What is the one where they're all sitting on the couch?
Through
Through being
cool.
cool.
Through Being Cool. God bless it. I'm
That's
my
okay.
memory. Through Being Cool. And then when you're going through the lyric sheet, there's that picture, I think, of like the guitar player, and he's like, whoa, and there's like somebody with a pizza box.
Okay.
So somebody had gone to like Papa John's or Domino's and just asked for like 400 pizza boxes. And they're like, this guy, Little Joe, and a couple other people are like, these are like old Atlanta people, are like folding them up on the side of the thing because when they play, they just start tossing pizza boxes during their sets. And it becomes like an obstruction. Like it's almost going to shut the show down because
It's a lot.
pizza boxes flying everywhere.
Those can be sharp.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Cardboard cut.
Cardboard's fucked.
Yeah,
I
especially
don't
on a
like
pizza box.
What can you tell me about the Most Precious Blood shopping cart incident?
Where are you getting
This
this
is his
information?
new thing, dude. He leaves me in the lurch with all this dirt, and I'm along for the ride.
So
I want you to be excited, Bo, is what
It's
I
true.
want you
I
to
mean,
be
you're
like,
not right.
"What?"
I am invested immediately. You're right.
a fun fact about me is in high school, I got my 2 front teeth knocked out.
That was kind of your look for.
Yeah. Well, in high
Frankly, I
school,
didn't even know you
got
fixed them.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I said, frankly, I didn't even know you fixed them. It's been a minute.
We're gonna get there.
Okay.
I got him knocked out because we went to an abandoned hospital. My friend were like walking around in the dark. This is like the most fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, abandoned hospital. Like this is sketchy.
We do that now.
yeah. Well, there's probably ghosts in here. I want
exactly.
to see something.
Kid, do you know where it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there.
Perfect.
Coming soon.
Yeah, there you go. My friend from high school, his name's Chris Beaver. He's walking down the hallway with this PVC pipe that's about 23 feet long. And he's dragging the front end of it across the ceiling. And the ceiling is like that drop tile stuff.
Yeah.
Well, eventually he gets caught in one of those like little brackets. I'm behind him. It's dark. Nobody can see what's going on. And so to get it out, he brings the front end down, like yanks it down, but it brings the back end of the pipe up. And it just whops me in the face. Like,
Who's that?
boom.
Who's that wrestler, Colin, that got it real good with the ladder? WWE. I want to say Matt Sydal. It's obviously not Matt Sydal, but he like busts his. It's a Hardy Boys thing, and maybe I don't remember, but I can imagine.
I know Cesaro lost some teeth in
that
that.
was jumping into the ring post. And dude, he didn't lose them. They got pushed in. Yeah, terrible. But anyway, how old were you when that happened, Thomas?
Oh God, 16 maybe.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you
so
rocked that for a while.
No, I'm gonna get there. So they get knocked out. I immediately swallow them. Like
tell.
they get broken out, and both my lips get busted completely open, and I swallow them.
Dude, that double sucks because you swallow teeth and the tooth fairy doesn't give you anything.
You
I don't
get
get shit
nothing.
for it.
You're embezzling at that point.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit, dude.
Terrible.
And the sad thing is, it's like, because I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, I need to come up with a story, but I also had to drive myself to my mom's work. It's like not something we don't have cell phones all the time. I can't communicate this to her in a fashion. I can barely talk.
Yeah.
So I'm in the passenger seat of my car. Chris is driving it. We're like stopping at red lights, and I'm looking at people, and they're looking at me, and I'm just like, I look like Leatherface. Like,
How many times did Chris say I'm sorry?
oh, so much.
Dude.
He thought I was gonna fight him.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
after
I
that.
would. To this day, does he ever like, hey man?
He would look at those teeth and just be like, I did that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I haven't talked to him in years, but
I
probably.
would feel so bad. Sorry, but go on. So you're in the car.
So we're in the car. We go to my mom's place, and I'm like, "Hey, I need," I ask for her. I'm like, "I need Lori." She comes down, and then she just starts immediately crying. Now, I'm like, "Mom, it's gonna be okay." I'm not understanding now that I'm a parent with kids. I understand. You motherfucker! You just cost me so much money. That's why she's crying.
Of
Yeah.
course.
You fucking idiot. And then we have to make up some lie where I'm like, I got hit in the face with a baseball while we were playing or something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Not because we had legally broken into this place.
Did she buy it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, hey, Mom. So
White lie. That's a white lie.
I get these fake teeth, but they're like the cheapest ones you can get.
Okay.
But they hold out for
Those
years.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, the chiclets.
Yeah, the
Chiclet teeth.
yeah. And but they hold out for years. Then Foundation, a decade later, we're like, let's go do like a weekend in Texas. Let's go over to Texas and try to make a name, play some shows with some local bands there, and
Hell yeah.
what's up? So we go out there and we have to get a fill-in. So Matt Miller, the photographer with the banana picture, fills in for us. He plays bass. Phenomenal bass player too. The first day, we go to Chili's to eat dinner, and then we're leaving. We're like, let's go over to this Target real quick. And in the Target had those big like double like kid seat shopping carts with this big black bar on like a big piece of plastic, and he tries to like WWE like flip me into the cart, but instead it just goes sideways, and he just very bonks my head on the bar, but he hits it at the exact right frequency where both the teeth just go pop right back out.
Whoa.
We're in Texas.
Yeah.
I don't have dental insurance. I don't have any insurance whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure they have hospitals there.
No, I'm living at the Wyford house. I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. And I'm like freaking out. He's like, oh God, he's about to kill me. And then I'm like, I'm tonguing it. I'm like, okay, we need to go to a dentist, but like we can't go to an emergency dentist. Like I already know in my brain that's going to be
That's
too much
billions.
money. Yeah, billions. I'm like, we'll just go in the morning. And I'm like tonguing him, and I'm like, it feels weird, but it doesn't hurt. Let me drink some water. I drink the water. It's a little sensitive at first. I knew you already winced, and I was like, it's a little bit sensitive, but the sensitivity went away probably because the nerve endings were dying. But there was no blood or anything. He just broke the fake teeth back out.
Yeah.
So we do the tour. Everyone's just like, well, who the fuck what's up with this guy? He looks like a fucking meth addict or something.
Yeah.
We get home. I finally see a dentist, and they're like, oh yeah, that's like $2,500 a tooth. And like, at that point in my life, you might
That's
as well
suicide.
Yeah.
You might as well, yeah. That's
So
billions.
you didn't do it and they grew back or what?
I didn't fix them at first because it didn't hurt to eat. They didn't cause me pain. And at least at that point in my life, the biggest concern was like the girls thought it was cute.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right.
Girls thought it was cute.
Hey,
They were like, I don't know, there's something about it. And I said, you know what?
you look like a fighter, you know?
Did you
Yeah, we'll
sing
just-
with a lisp?
Huh? No, I didn't have a lisp or anything, but I remember thinking like I wasn't the only guy at that time whose teeth got wrecked, because I remember Walter's
still
that's
rocking
true.
it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Chief no teeth, dude.
Yeah, and he probably looks fucking more badass than he's ever looked.
That's. I mean, if he fixed that, I think people would be devastated.
Dude, Sexy Tim once told me, he said the biggest mistake I ever did was fix my teeth.
Dude, I think people who fix their like gaps or their like iconic imperfections you're throwing your personality. That's you.
We were just talking about this, Colin, when I was in LA the other day, that like I like a thing that's quote unquote wrong. on a face.
Yeah.
I think that makes it interesting. I really do.
It's something to remember. Like, oh, that's the Gap guy. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I
Love that guy.
I rocked that for, I don't know, it felt like 5 or 6 years. And then eventually got to a point where I could afford to actually fix them. And then Matt actually got to a point in his life too where he was like, let me give you a little bit of money to help fix your teeth.
Oh, that's so nice.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
before they fixed them, they did a plaster mold of them, and he has the plaster mold. It's
Fuck
like on his
yeah.
fireplace.
Does Matt have a ton, or at one point did he have a ton of skateboards lining his house? Yeah, I stayed at his house once. I think Charlie.
He
and
was
him
the
were friends.
skateboard guy. He's since kind of cleared out a lot of that collection, but he still has some stuff.
He had the Samhain board.
Wow.
He had like the boards. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
That's a cumbersome thing to collect.
Dude, imagine
yeah.
all his entire house, all of his walls were skateboards. Like
It's insane.
and not I don't think all of them had trucks and wheels on them, so it was mostly just decks.
Yeah.
But it was still just like that's that many inches less on every wall.
Yeah.
So your house is that much smaller. You know?
Your house is 6 inches less wide on every on every wall. Brutal. I heard you once put out an Iron Boots record.
I did. I put up the Iron Boots demo as a 7-inch.
Tell me about that.
So Justin Jordan was a local Atlanta guy, and he passed away like right as the band started. But he was like, you know how there's always a guy in your scene that's like the cutting edge guy.
Sure.
He just seems to know about the fucking cool bands before you know about them, and kind of can kind of see the future. He was that guy.
Okay.
Like he understood that the locking out scene was gonna be the next huge thing.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Before anybody else. And he was like, you gotta listen to this band Iron Boots. And I was like, okay. Listen to the demo, and I was like, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. At least at that time, I was like, that. It was like that in the Cold World demo, and I was like, that's the best music I've ever heard in my life.
Iron Boots, members of Fire and Ice, and
Yes, pre Fire and Ice.
Pre-Fire and Ice, right?
Right.
Virginia Beach band.
Yeah.
And I just like, oh, I love this demo. And he's like, we should try to put it out as a 7-inch. And I'm like, that's insane. Like someone else is gonna put that out.
What are you, a millionaire?
Yeah. Well, back then, I mean, you could get a record pressed at like Music Hall in Ohio for like
$500 from them.
Yes. Like it wasn't really that much. And I was like working 2 jobs at the time, and I was like, he's like, we should try to put it out. And I said, okay, let's email them. We emailed them and they said yes. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Now we really got to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like the height of like, you could put something cool on the Bridge 9 board and it'd be gone like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
you're welcome, by the way.
What'd you say?
You're welcome for that.
Yeah.
Surely one of them.
So
Oh, yeah.
I put them on the Bridge 9 board. I wasn't like I was like the quiet guy in the group text. Like I didn't actively post that much, but I was always keeping up with the Bridge 9 board.
What was your Bridge 9 username?
I think it was Kill Their Past X.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Mine was BOSXE.
Beautiful.
What was it?
My screen name on everything has been the same thing since I was like 15.
That's
Bo
amazing.
sexy. Bo sexy, baby.
BOSXE.
So sexy. I love it.
Mine was Soaked in Torment.
Damn.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Good song, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what was the B9 board's peak amount of active users?
That's a really good question.
It
You know?
would have had to been during the locking out era because
And
don't
how
think you
many
can find
people was
out.
that? Because like our Discord has like 4,000 people.
Right.
You know,
it felt like 1 million, but it was
it
probably
felt like a billion.
It was
it was probably 2,000
it was probably about 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000.
with the same 50 people posting every day.
I think it was at one point the most dangerous place on the internet.
Oh yeah. Because that was at a time where like you would write something on that board and you might get caught up.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
later.
no, it's happening. It's law. You're stamping your name behind whatever you're saying.
Yeah,
on there.
someone would find you at a fest like Jay and Silent Bob and be like, "Are you users?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. Did you call me like an ass licker?" And then you might get beat up for it.
Yeah.
That's all of Twitter now, though. So,
Yeah, true.
but I don't think people are too comfortable on there right now.
Way too comfortable on Twitter.
There needs to be a reckoning.
Oh yeah, people just think they can say or do whatever they want.
It's brutal.
It's crazy.
So anyway, they said yes, you emailed them. Now you got to do it.
Got to put it out. Put up the pre-orders instantaneously, like more than I could like absorb. Or I was like, oh fuck. Like, that's a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got to do the emergency press so they can have it for posse numbers that year. Got that taken care of, no problem. And then the part that caught me up, which catches everybody up anytime. I mean, you guys understand, you've been musicians, was the packing and shipping part, where it was like, one, it took forever to get the records.
Yeah.
By those standards back then.
Right.
And then I had to individually like address and mail these out one at a time. I didn't have like a label printer.
Yeah, no.
This is 2003. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
future technology. I can't do that. And so it just took a long ass time. But like, I sent every record out.
You
People
got them
talk about
out.
it all the time. They're like, yeah, I finally got my record. I was gonna beat your ass, but I did end up getting my. For that, I think somebody was like the singer of Aftermath from DC, John Aftermath.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I was gonna beat his ass, but I got that record eventually. I was like, thank God. And then I felt like,
USPS,
you know, like
baby.
there was like a weird schism between me and the Iron Boots guys.
Oh no.
Because they
like-
were getting shit for you not
They
shipping
were
their
also
record.
getting shit, and I just felt so bad. I'm sure they were just like, look, we just like want to wash our hands of this.
Yeah.
Time passed, and then like, you know, I ended up like becoming friends with Flizza and them, and it was like, you laugh about it now, but at the time it was like, it was a very stressful situation.
Was Flizza was in Iron Boots too?
Yes.
Fucking legend, dude.
Can't tell by that drumming.
You're right.
Touche.
Get it. Legend.
God,
What a
Fire
fucking
Ice,
gangster.
man. What a band.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, okay, that's good. They made him out. Good for
Yeah.
you, man.
It was fun, but it was a learning experience. It gave me more patience for people who were doing stuff at that time. Where it
Yeah,
was like,
that
this is not easy.
that patience is gone now amongst stuff buyers. I think.
Well, I just saw you post something about like sending out the Twitch Fits thing.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
that took a while, but there's a couple reasons, you know.
I know, but
yeah,
I hate you have to apologize for something like that.
but I think they came at the right time because the season is upon us once again.
Oh
But
yeah.
also it's like, guys, you got a book,
Yeah.
you got a bag, you got
They didn't know they were getting all that.
but like,
Yeah.
can you shut up about it? You know, like, come on.
But I haven't seen a single person who's gotten them be disappointed. Which is
No,
nice.
it's truly one of the best packaging things I've seen on a record. Very
I used to love pre-ordering stuff or buying something, and then so much time had passed, I'd forgotten about
It's
it.
the best.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, cool, this
It's the
thing
best.
game.
Yeah.
Dude, every Halloween, some company puts up some shirt for some movie, and I'm like, that's the coolest shirt I've ever seen. And it comes Q3 2 years later, and I'm like, this is still the sickest shirt I've ever seen. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
I think in modern history, the pre-order I waited for the longest was the Born to Land Hard press.
From A389?
Yeah, and that wasn't any of his fault. He wanted to make sure that thing was perfect before it got out. And when I got it, it was Christmas. It was like Christmas.
How good does that feel?
Yeah, I was like, boy, I'm happy I got this thing.
I
And
literally
sometimes it used to not show up.
Yeah.
I literally opened up a shirt package yesterday of that an Entomb shirt that's like, some people don't understand,
I
fuck
have that
you.
shirt. Yeah,
And then
with the
it's just a
handgun
matter
on
of
it.
bullets.
OG?
Yeah.
No. Just a boot. Like, the
Okay.
OG is way too expensive and hard to find.
That's like a $500-$600 shirt. No
Yeah, it's a
problem.
crazy shirt. But I found it on Comfort Color, so I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll make it a cutoff or whatever. Ordered it probably before I went to Europe. And it just showed up yesterday.
And how good did that feel?
Dude, I was like, I forgot. I forgot I even ordered it.
I
Love
forget
shit
things
like
I
that.
ordered this week.
Yeah, that's dude. I love checking for mail.
It's like, what did I get me?
I'm so nice to me.
This is incredible.
All right, let's hear this Strange Darling story.
Oh.
Is that
what
what you
was
went to
referring
see?
Yeah, I went to see Strange Darling last night. It seems great.
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I'm done with AMC theaters once and for all. It's over.
Use
I do
this
think-
time, Colin. Use this platform. Use this time as your PSA.
I'm going to use it because, listen, AMC, you should be ashamed of yourselves. It should not be my job as your customer to enforce your policies in your theaters. 100%. You should have people standing on each corner telling people to shut the fuck up and put their phones away. Yesterday, I had to deal with, I know when it's going to happen. You know, I can see when somebody's going to be a problem.
Do you get that anxiety?
I get get this horrible feeling.
Yeah.
And the theater's dark, theater's silent. The movie is starting, and 4 people come up, phones on, flashlights on, talking full volume like, I think it's the last row. Family size bag of Cheetos. And I see that and I go, this is it. This is going to be a problem. They're talking over the like epic opening of this movie.
Yeah.
Strange Darling, which seems great. I'm a big Kyle Gallner guy. I have been for a long time. I'm very happy to see him, have a win. These 4 people aren't shutting the fuck up. And my blood is boiling. I'm in combat mode, where it's like tonight is the night, 100%. And I give him a stern shut up. And a lady in like thick Russian is like, they sell the stuff here. You can eat it. They're eating. And I'm screaming at this point.
So someone else, a third party,
talks to me. Because there's 4 people, and the one at the end, Lana's in between me and her, and she's yelling at me.
Oh my God.
Packed theater, and I'm yelling at her, you're in a fucking movie theater, shut the fuck up. And then she's like, you shut up. And I'm like, no, you shut up. So, and then Lana's sitting in between just like this. And I'm sitting there like, dude. I'm stretching at this point, because there's 2 guys with her. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm fighting both guys.
Yeah,
so I'm mentally preparing like, okay, the movie's ending, and then I'll have to fight 2 guys at the same time. So I'm stretching a little bit, I'm in my seat, like getting ready. I'm taking things out of my pockets. I'm just getting ready. And then one of our Erica leaves because she's like, she can feel the tension. The tension is insane. So then they start eating louder. They start, instead of talking, are like,
Oh my God.
For provocation. and I can't take it anymore. Because then it's like, okay, it's leave or jail.
This will not stand.
It will not stand. It is like engage in combat, 2v1, or just leave this theater and watch this great movie somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Anywhere else than AMC theaters.
How deep into the movie were you?
15 minutes.
Oh, dude.
It seems great.
You're giving me anxiety right now.
I can't wait to finish it someday. The opening is pure anxiety. So I'm feeling everything that she's feeling, essentially. They are him. I'm her, Thomas. That makes sense to you. You've seen it. I haven't seen it. So I leave and I, in the lobby, cancel my stubs. And now I will make it my lifelong goal to crush this corporation by any means necessary.
Did you say anything on your way out?
No.
Just
because you know why, Bo? There's 400 other people in there trying to watch this movie.
Of course.
And in my conquest for peace, I create war.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I realized, like, to some people in here, maybe I'm the bad guy. And I can't have that.
They're a bunch of doves. They're not willing to do what needs to be done.
They can't do it. But I shouldn't have to do it.
That's what I was going to say. Is the Russian woman correcting you is in the wrong.
100%. There is
in that moment you were being valiant, and she should have supported you.
100%.
I applaud anybody who's what, because I get real hinky. I'm like, I want to fucking say something, but I also I live in Atlanta. You could possibly get shot for even asking someone to get out of your pre-registered seat.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I understand that, and it's like, it's not that different here. I've had confrontations with guys who could fuck me up.
Yeah. So it's like, you being brave enough to say something, she should have been like, yeah, shut the fuck up.
The whole theater should have backed me up, because you could hear them on the fucking the Super Mario World. Yeah. It was at the Universal AMC, which is a lawless wasteland. So I should have known better. But it's over. I'm never going again.
Well, a few things. One, I'm sorry you missed that movie, because I was just saying that I think it's the best movie I saw this summer. I'm not saying it's the best movie.
Dude, the opening, I was like, this is going to be the movie of the year.
But I saw a lot of stuff this summer that was a letdown, and I thought that was the best movie I saw this summer. 2, the best tweet I saw this summer was, people aren't not going to the movies because they don't care about seeing movies in theaters. They care about theaters not fucking holding up their policies.
Oh, dude.
Why would I want to pay $30 goddamn dollars to listen to kids? Nothing makes my skin jump more than children, because of my profession, where it's like, why are these goddamn kids in here at 11 o'clock?
Hell yeah.
And
they don't understand
this complex rated R movie.
Dude, they have
get the fuck out.
They don't. Kids aren't aware that, like, we can kill all of them. And I'm sorry. I know you're a teacher. I don't want to get you in trouble for that. He didn't say that. I did. Like, I'm so much stronger than every kid combined.
How many you think you could take?
Kid, like, what grade
You're
are we talking?
standing in a gymnasium, tile floor.
Yeah.
You're dressed however you want to dress.
Yeah. Spin kick, God take shorts on.
They could be on. You got a stream of kids, let's say every 10 seconds, grade 1.
Grade 1?
Every 10 seconds, another one comes.
A first grader?
First grader.
Thousands,
Oh, that's
bro.
A
What bad for the kids.
1,000?
No, thousands.
Okay, but that's still, even if you're just kicking
10
one.
seconds? I need 1 second per kid.
If you're kicking one every 10 seconds, that's still you kicking like 5 tons.
Yeah.
That's gonna
matter.
wear you
All
out.
I have to do is get them on the ground and their brains are jelly.
Would you use one as a weapon?
And 100% easily, dude.
You can make a barricade out of them.
100%. Human shield through the
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want to do this,
You just could.
but they should know that it's an option.
They should
for me
know it's- yeah,
in a
you're-
movie theater.
I really don't. I don't care for like policing. I don't care for what is it called, citizen arrests in any way outside of movie theaters and airports.
Because realistically, this is the literal one place in the world where you can't do this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if your goal is have a conversation, hang out with friends, and like talk at all,
Don't
you can
come
go
here.
anywhere else.
Go
anywhere else
anywhere.
Yes.
in the world. I've
You can go
expressed that.
places-
I've yelled that on the show before, so I won't do it this time.
For free. You can do it for free.
For free.
Other places. You paid
Yeah.
money to fucking talk.
With much bigger, cheaper snacks.
So I wish that you could talk to Jeff Jock sometime and have him tell you the story about the movie fight that he's been in. It's an amazing story, but basically it ends with him turning around and looking at someone and goes, "Are you going to talk to the fucking credits too?" And then just a brawl breaks out.
Fuck, that's a good line. That's a good line.
I mean, I've hit a lot of people with like, "Did you enjoy that? Could you hear it?" It doesn't bring me joy. It brings me misery and pain to feel this way.
do you know the Seinfeld episode where George yells at kids doing that, and he says,
Yeah, I'm going to show you what it's like, dude.
And do you know the story behind that line? Dude, that line, Larry David was just listening to some big band record, and someone in the big band, like on the recording, fucks up. And the leader says, if you can't get it right, I'm going to take you out back and show you what it's like. So Larry David put it in the script. That's it.
Show you what it's like is insane.
It's so good, dude.
Because when was that big band recording? 1943?
Yeah, exactly.
To show you what was like.
But yeah, in the Seinfeld episode, the whole audience cheers for George.
And that's what I want. I'm your hero.
Yeah.
I'm your Batman, and you don't
Straight
respect
up.
me?
A watchful protector.
Strange Darling in theaters now.
I haven't seen it yet. Colin hasn't seen it either.
I haven't seen it either. Tell me about Thomas playing a show with Brokencyde and Millionaires.
Oh.
All right. So again, we're on one of those abysmal tours. I think it's the first tour with Forfeit. We're playing in Kansas.
Okay.
And we go to Wichita.
Mm.
And we're supposed to play this show that's at like a biker bar.
Mm.
And we can hear a band inside like warming up. And I'm not even joking. Earlier that day, me and Andrew were talking about that band Coalesce.
Coalesce?
Yeah, Coalesce. They're from Kansas.
Yep.
And how insane of a voice Sean Ingram has.
Totally.
Sure.
Like, nobody sounds like that. Nobody will ever sound like that. Except for whatever this opening band was in Wichita. We just hear them like, and then we hear this guy vocal checking, and he sounds just like Sean Ingram.
Wow.
And I'm like, holy shit, like, this is going to be crazy. So we go in there. There's nobody in there except for like a bunch of old VFW guys and this like dad rock band. And the guy vocal checking is like this guy who's like ZZ Top beard, bald on top. And I'm like, is this the show we're supposed to be at? This doesn't feel like the show we're supposed to be at.
God.
And there's like two kids outside and they're like, hey, I don't think this show's going to work because Brokencyde and Millionaires are playing down the street. But we can get you on that show if you want to go play that. And we're like assessing the situation. We're like, yeah, fuck it. Let's go play.
Probably would have done the same thing.
Dude, Millionaires are local legends here.
Well, I didn't know who the fuck those bands were.
You weren't on MySpace? You were on MySpace. We were friends.
A little bit, but like,
us.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that scene.
Yeah.
That like weird, like techno core fluorescent neon tube light type.
Disco with breakdowns.
Disco with breakdowns. And we get there, and it's sold out.
Whoa.
It's like a packed crowd. Half the room is little kids. The other half of the room are their parents. And we get on, and we get to play like 4 songs each.
Hell yeah.
So we go through our set. The kids are just like, this is almost like what I loved about it. The kids were just there to see live music. So they were going to vibe to whatever was happening. And they're jumping up and down, and they're going crazy. And I point the mic at this one kid, and he just grabs it, and he's just like, and then in between the song, I go, "Hey, you don't know the words?" And he goes, "I just wanted to scream." And I was like, dude, yes.
Dude, that's way cooler than than pretending you know.
Yeah, I was like,
just scream.
And I was like, he had me in that moment. I can't even argue that.
Yeah. I just wanted to scream, dude.
Like, fuck, I feel you, brother.
How was the Millionaire set?
Oh, it's bonkers.
Dude,
Couldn't believe that was real music.
Let's get fucked up.
I don't know what was crazier.
Give me that
set
alcohol.
or like a youth of today set from like the Anthrax. Like
Same.
kids were going insane.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Thomas, you remember when Foundation, Disgrace, and Harm's Way had to play This Is Hardcore after show at Kung Fu Necktie, and we had like 30 minutes for all 3 bands before a hard curfew.
Yes, and I feel like
that's no exaggeration, Colin.
I feel like that was the last time we played This Is Hardcore, like one of our last shows, and I think we jumped on, and I always feel, I know you're bringing it up, but I always feel guilty about that show. I'm like, we didn't need to jump on that.
It was awesome, though. What are Disgrace and Harm's Way are going to have 20 minutes each instead of 15? You know, like
I know, but it was like, you always feel bad, like.
Nah, it was a literal. I think Disgrace played first, and then Harm's Way. We played after. Who like drew? Like, why was it like that?
I think it was Mother of Mercy.
Was that what it was?
Bob was there, so I feel like it was like a Mother of Mercy set or something.
Was this the drop? No, God Save played a Drop Dead one there.
This was 2015, I think, because Sam Iowa was with us.
Okay,
so it had to be 2015. But yeah, so it was like Disgrace played. They played the fucking gung 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 gung. I was in that pit. Yeah. Then Harm's Way played.
Pretty good band.
Dude, changeover of maybe 3 minutes.
Wow.
Like,
so fast.
And then again for Foundation. And what was cool is everyone just like stayed. Like nobody left. So it was
nobody even stepped outside to like talk. They just stayed in the room.
We got done playing, and Samayo and I were just stage diving for Foundation. You know,
That's
it was
awesome.
fucking awesome. And we fit. I think we legitimately fit 3 bands, like 4 song sets in 45 minutes.
That's incredible.
Awesome.
True story.
More bands need to learn that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Why are you taking so long to set up?
Less is more. Less is more. So, Thomas, how early? I'm out of surprises. How early was the Foundation breakup announced? Because I remember Turncoat coming out, and the understanding was already like, this is the last record. This is it.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you ask Champ, he'll probably tell you like I was trying to kill the band for like 2 years.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. This is kind of one of those things of like being younger, where it was like, bands don't need to stay around forever, because eventually they take up space that another band should be occupying. And I still stand by that sentiment. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but like we did our thing. We kind of had our time, and we went through that. And I didn't want to overstay our welcome. You know, like I didn't want to get into this kind of like,
and Lord, do we know that can happen?
Yeah, like, all right, brother, we seen you. Like,
yeah,
knock it off. But I didn't understand that the tides were also changing, where we didn't need to tour all the time.
Right.
I didn't know that was on the horizon. I was like, we can't keep doing that. And you talked about the Comeback Kid tour, but that was kind of the realization where it was like, we were like, we don't want to do this all the time.
I would have bet my life that was the catalyst.
But it wasn't them. In fact, I would argue that Comeback Kid was one of the better bands to tour with. They were
no, of course. It's not has nothing to do with just them.
Yeah,
it's just
no. It was just
it was just that tour. It was just that tour.
It's like, okay, this is reality. This is what this is actually like once you start doing this all the time.
When you're turning that into a lifestyle, this is what it looks like. And I was like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think everybody kind of quickly came to that realization. But instead of just being like, well, let's just take a hiatus or thing, and I was like, we should kill the band. Like, we should end the band.
Should kill their past.
Yeah, kind of. But okay, I'm gonna get deep for a second.
Please.
Part of me wanting to break the band up was like, kind of like being okay with death.
Okay.
Like things ending and leaving them alone. And that's always, I mean, if you've ever looked at Foundation lyrics, that's something I've always kind of struggled with. Like there is, all of this is not infinite. There's a finite amount of time we have here. And so I was like, I've never been okay with that. I've never been okay with this idea that we're just like grinding through all this and it just stops. And I thought that maybe if we could break the band up, that would be like a simulation of that.
Of just accepting death as a concept?
Yes, kind of.
Wow. Interesting.
I know that seems kind of like lofty, and for some people that might just be like, what the fuck is he on about right now? But it was like, maybe we can end this thing and walk away from it, and it won't be so upsetting.
Yeah.
And we did that, and I'm okay. I came out okay. It was okay.
You had your family backing you up. You had Overwatch backing you up.
Oh man, I had so much Overwatch to back me up. But now you know, Rebirth is in best case scenario part of death, ideally, you know.
Yeah, it's a whole new world now.
Well, so part of that is like, one of the things that always stung a little bit was I remember sitting at the last show, on stage when you guys were playing, when Harm's Way was playing, and kind of like looking around and being like, this might be one of the last times that we're all kind of like in the room together. And you guys have been there. You've been in situations like that where it's like, it's sad.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I love touring wasn't even so much playing the shows. It was just seeing those faces. Getting to California and knowing that I was going to see the Young Brothers. Going to Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest and knowing that I was going to see Bo and Chris and Charlie. Getting up to Long Island and knowing that I was going to see all those guys. Like, I loved that feeling. And I loved, like, for me personally, I have a hard time keeping really close, strong relationships. So it was nice for me, personally for me, not speaking for the whole band, that like, okay, I can like step back and then I can check in with all these people every few times a year. And when the band was sitting there playing, I was like, this won't happen for a while.
Damn.
And that was really, really sad for me. Like, I had to sit with that. I cried at the end of the last show, not because the Foundation was broken up. It's just like,
your life is changing.
It's a phase.
Yeah, my life is changing. I'm not going to see all these guys like I used to.
It's a phase, not in the phase sense of like, oh, it's just a phase, but it's like a major chapter, yes, of your life.
Like, hardcore is not a phase, obviously. I keep these tenets with me till the day I die. But being in a touring band, which is its own thing, that phase was kind of over. And now I see that it's a little bit different. We can go out on a weekend and it's okay. And I can see my friends. You
can play once a year and it's okay.
Exactly. We can play once a year. I can see my friends and it's okay. And that's when I kind of started coming around to that idea. And I'm like, well, I want to see my friends. There's younger bands that I want to play shows with because I like them. And I'm like, and then it turned into this thing of like, I don't want to be like a reunion band. I want to come back and I want to be a part of the conversation.
I like that.
I love that.
I like that.
I want to be a part of the conversation again. I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to step on any toes. I'm not trying to take space from anybody. That's a big thing for me. I was talking to Van about it. I was like, if we do this, I don't want to take space from anybody. I just want to be a part of the conversation.
I think there's space for everybody. There always has been. Never more than ever. And there's young bands who we've talked to that like exist because of Foundation.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Who they want to play with you, you know?
I would love to play with them.
They're out there. They're watching.
I want to play. I mean, I think about something like the whole like Northern Unrest scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
like
the fun.
like
we
that.
talk about it all the time, dude.
Yeah.
It's the sickest thing in the world.
I'm like, how would I ever have a chance to play with those bands or really even see them? Because they may not make it over to the States very
Yeah,
often.
sure,
And if they
sure.
do, it's usually like we're going to play like the Northeast and then maybe go over to California.
Yeah.
You know, Atlanta still has the Southeast just kind of has that problem because once you get like down to Richmond, everything is a fucking 7-hour drive
Yeah.
away. So, and I don't fault people for that. It's a big jump, but it's like I want to play with bands like that. I want to see them. Like,
I guarantee you they want you there. So,
Yeah, for sure.
well, that'd be flattering if they felt that way.
lads, if you're watching, make it happen. So tell me about Turncoat, because you guys knew, like, okay, this is it. We're putting it all into this one. We're making the best one last,
So,
which I think you did.
I would agree. As a band, I think like that was our best one because one, as I said earlier, like lyrically, I knew it was gonna be the last one. So I was like, I'm going for broke on these songs.
Yeah.
And even now, like looking back, I'm like, oh, that's a grammatical error. I should have fixed that.
Well, you're a coach.
You're a
you know?
teacher, yeah.
Yeah. So should have fixed that. I meant to say this and I said that, but that's not neither here nor there. So
I've been there. We've all been there.
I went all out on those and I rehearsed those songs the most before we recorded them
Damn.
Interesting.
because we went to Chicago and recorded with Andy.
Yep.
What caused that was Dead in the Dirt recorded with them. And when we heard that record, we were like, fuck, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like it just sounded gnarly, but like not in a shitty way. Like, ooh, like this guy knows what he's doing. And it still has like, I don't know. This all sounds like very like machismo. It's had like big ass balls on it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest complaints I ever heard about Foundation is people like love the band, love the dudes, love the live show. We don't sound like that on a record. And I was like, I think we decided that if we went with someone like Andy, he would make us sound like what we sound like live.
Interesting.
And I think he did. I think that's Turncoat is what we sounded like live.
Yeah, I agree. That's Foundation to me.
Yeah. I think I
Tell me about
visited
it.
you guys when you were recording it. It was
Were you
still,
in town when we recorded it?
I believe so. Yeah, I remember visiting. I remember seeing everybody. That it was still when it was the strangest studio because there's all the fucking
It was like a wood shop.
the wood shop stuff and the raincoats and all this weird shit. It's just bizarre.
I loved it though. I would record with Andy again in a second. Like he was amazing to record with. And Drew put us up.
Yep.
Like he took care
hell
of us
yeah.
while we were there.
Yep.
And it was-
King.
yeah, he's a king. He's a king.
How many times did you get to play those songs?
At
For
those-
that, just a tour and a last show?
yeah, kind of.
Wow.
Like, except for Failure Breeds Failure. We had that one in the tank for like almost a year and a half
Okay.
Okay.
before we got to everything else. In fact, the first FYA Fest, we played that song in its entirety at that show.
Oh, cool.
How'd
Yeah.
it go over?
Oh, the kids went crazy. No, but it wasn't a unique experience that we like played a new song. We opened with it. And even though people didn't know it, they were still like moshing. They understood the energy of the song, which like that's
It's the
huge.
dream.
You know how it
And
is to
that's
play
a
a new
banger.
song. That's huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Opening with a new song used to be a really cool. That's a brave thing. A lot of bands used to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scary. I wouldn't do it now, personally. So you're coming back at FYA. Are you scared?
We are coming back at FYA. I'm terrified.
Oh.
Everyone's telling me to like, oh, just relax. It's gonna be fine. I'm terrified. I've always been terrified.
What terrifies you?
I think I just really understand that hardcore is like you get back what you put out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm scared that if that energy's not there, it'll feel awful.
The energy's there. I can promise you
I
that
don't want
now.
to perform for a room of people that are like, oh, cool.
No, that's not.
no.
No, there are people traveling to see you perform.
We can tell you like scientifically based on like when we've interviewed people who go to these fests and go to these things that it would be impossible for you to play that fest and have people go, oh, cool.
It's really you and Title Fight are the only ones they haven't seen.
Yeah.
You're all they have left. So don't worry, it's gonna be great. And if your concern is you get what you get, like give, you have already given. The music is the art lives forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like because you stop giving the speeches before Bane plays that you won't get good reactions anymore. You don't need the speeches were great. You already gave them. People remember them. You have the music. So now the music is the message. They know the message. Now they get to experience the message.
Well, the implication being like I don't have more speeches.
Oh, I know your ass got some speeches.
The scroll.
I know that set's going to be 50 minutes long, 20 minutes of music.
I hope not. Well, we did actively talk about not playing an extremely long set.
I think you should. I think you should leave them wanting more, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we looked at like how long did we play at the last show? And we were like, Jesus Christ, we
how
can't
long
even
was
play
it?
that long anymore. I think it was like 60 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was long.
16 songs. I don't know. It felt like an eternity.
It was long.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a long ass set. And I'm
but
like,
you had the last one.
I know. I wouldn't want to put anybody through that again, though.
They want it.
They're like, God, can you just fucking play Devotion 3 already? Jesus Christ.
Now, so you're scared of that. Are you scared of ghosts?
Great segue. Wow.
I've been waiting for this question. I am not scared of ghosts.
That's what I'm talking. He's an educated man.
But not scared. Do you not believe in them? Or do you just not fear them?
This is where Bo's going to like, he's commending me. I tell my students this all the time because I teach science. I'm all about the critical thinking and the skepticism. I am a skeptic to my bone. Mm-hmm. I do not believe in ghosts, yet I believe I have seen one.
Now, how does that work?
It's what we call a paradox.
Mm-hmm. Science.
Okay, so how did you see one? Explain.
All right.
Please.
When I was growing up, we lived in the suburbs of Atlanta. We lived in a house that had a long hallway on the top floor that connected all the bedrooms, guest bathroom, the staircase to go downstairs, and all the other adjacent rooms. My bedroom was at the end of the hallway. Like I was the dead end at the end of the hallway.
That's the most haunted place. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. And I believe it was 96 or 97. Hurricane Andrew hit. And I remember waking up about 5, 6 in the morning, and there's just like the power's out. It's a whistling outside. The wind's going crazy. It's that very soft gray glow, because the sun can't get through because the cloud cover's so thick. And my parents aren't there. At this time in my life, my parents work nights, so they were at work. I know that this hurricane's going on. I just woke up in it, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if my parents came home early. I get up, open the door, and I'm like walking down the hallway, and I see my mom, and I'm like, okay, so cool. They came home early, obviously, because of the storm. And I'm like, Mom. And as my mother turns to go down the staircase, she turns and looks back at me. It's not my mom. It's just a very vagueless-looking face with 2 glowing eyes, and then it just kind of like dithers away as it moves down the stairs. And I'm not joking you, like in a Tom and Jerry cartoon, I just backpedal down the hallway, close the door, take the comforter off my bed, and then lay down on the side of my bed on the ground. Because in my head, the logic is that they come through the door, they can't see me.
Terrible logic. Stupid decision.
And to this day, like, here's the thing. I don't believe in ghosts.
So you weren't scared of that in that moment?
I was terrified, but I know that I saw something.
I do too. I know you saw something.
Here's the thing. What was he doing when this happened?
He was vibing, I think, is what he said.
Yeah, I don't know. So if you don't believe in ghosts and yet you think you saw one, what do you think you saw?
Spectre? Spirit?
Cool. Okay, now you wanted me to explain how I think
No, I'm saying by your own rationale, isn't it more likely that you hallucinated what you saw?
So, they say that most ghost sightings are because of a gas leak.
Well, there's no gas. You don't have gas. Did you have gas that day?
There was a hurricane. There might have been a pop pipe somewhere in the house. I don't know.
Carbon monoxide.
No. But that wasn't the only experience I've had like that in that house.
So you believe in ghosts?
No.
You're full of shit. Pick one.
Yeah,
I get the conundrum.
Yeah.
It is a conundrum. It's a great conundrum.
I refuse to believe that it's, like, by definition, a spirit. I think what a ghost could be, if it exists, is like an imprint of energy.
Yeah,
especially in violent moments.
Yeah. Something from the great beyond, sticking
Something
around.
like that. I know what I experienced, but I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, it was definitely a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that about what you experienced. was definitely a ghost.
Yeah, because years later, when I left the home and I came back, like I was staying at home briefly, like between tours, I remember sleeping in the same bed I had in high school, and I felt someone come into my room, walk over to me, and like stand over me. But I didn't want to open my eyes because it was like freaking me out.
People say this, right? This is like a trope. You
I'm
hear
not
this.
a sleep paralysis person, though.
But
I know what
like,
you're thinking.
Dude, I sleep like on tour. I sleep in the room with 2 other guys every night. I never know what they're doing when I'm asleep. I never feel like someone's
You don't know
walking around.
anything that's going on while you're asleep.
You got me there. You got me there. He texted me the other day, and I texted him back at 2:37 in the afternoon.
It was awesome.
Thomas, is that why you sleep on the floor on tour?
I sleep on the floor on tour as a courtesy to other people.
Yeah, I didn't forget.
I'm a shifter and a roller. So
Same, dude.
I always had my air mattress.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
He obtained this air mattress, a really nice one somehow, and he would just
Legally?
lay it out, totally legal.
Through legal means, because I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Blow
Totally.
that sucker up, lay right down.
Could you walk into REI right now?
Yeah.
I just went there over Christmas and took
Yeah.
a picture outside and sent it to all my friends.
Can you? Because it's a co-op, you have to join. Could you be a member legally?
Ooh.
Yeah. I wasn't that deep in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a member
Could you
of that.
prove it?
I'm a member of that co-op. I get dividends still.
Gotta be.
It's great.
Gotta be, dude.
So
If I get a new pair of hiking shoes every 8 years, I gotta be a member. You know?
So Bo knows that they have in a certain amount of loss prevention or loss built into their budget.
And the $17 I get at the end of every year tells me exactly that.
Yeah, they know.
You
They know.
exceeded it in one single day, though, Thomas, I would say.
They know a couple of those giant mountain bikes are going for a test ride and getting
They really
test ridden
do.
right out of the lot.
So you've seen many ghosts, but you don't believe in them, which is stupid. Do you tell me about Foundation's eating habits on tour?
Dude, the day she eats, I remember.
They love to eat.
Yeah.
Real eaters.
Andrew's like a real eater.
He's a big boy.
He's a bit large.
8 feet tall.
Big.
You know,
Yeah,
he's
he's so tall.
absorbing every nutrient.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to eat. It was hard though because some of us were vegan and vegetarian and then other people weren't. So sometimes you'd get that disagreement on tour of like where we're gonna eat.
So Thomas, if you're flying down the highway on tour, Foundation, you see a magical sign with all the places to stop. Where is Foundation going?
Oh, can I give you the ideal place we'd be going?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a little restaurant called Whole Foods.
Oh, dude. Now this is true because I've seen these bastards commit war crimes at
I was
Whole
about
Foods.
to say, I do not believe that you have ever one time paid for a plate at Whole Foods.
Well, that's the thing is they just give you free food. And it's accommodating to both vegans, vegetarians, and meat eaters.
Yeah, and the problem is,
I can go in there and I can get some beautiful vegetable samosas with a chutney sauce. Andrew could get like a thing of ribs. I mean, there's something for
Well,
everybody.
paying for the bone is an amateur move.
and then your friend Bo is at his local Whole Foods with you, now forever remembered as being part of this group that made out like fucking bandits from the Kinsley Street Whole Foods. I remember.
I'm almost certain the rule is you can't walk out with it in your hands.
Did you do feet?
You just you store it in your cells, like in your muscles,
Just eat
Oh,
it. Yeah.
gotcha.
and there's not a problem. There's not a problem.
You know what though? What's funny is I know that answer is 100% accurate. That Foundation would be like, oh, there's a Whole Foods, we're good.
Yeah,
We're rich.
That's 100% accurate.
but we didn't figure that out until later in the tour.
Interesting.
We would do the scam where we'd like go to Taco Bell and be like, oh, we didn't get this.
Oh,
We didn't get this.
You
yeah,
guys
our
were big
van
on
just came through. You don't remember us?
Yeah, or like Chick-fil-A, they can't even argue it with you.
No.
You could be like, hey, we didn't get these 6 orders of waffle fries.
You guys were big on the Chipotle thing too.
We tried to, but man, I think other bands
Really?
ruined that. We
Expire
tried.
ruined it. For
Expire
everyone.
ruined it
We
for
would
sure.
always try it.
Yeah,
But
for some reason
other bands have kind of ruined it.
I thought you guys were big on that, but I do remember the Chick-fil-A thing. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, they didn't give us our fries. So the answer is Whole Foods.
Yeah.
First Whole
Unbelievable.
Foods. That's the first.
That's a honestly great. I would have bet money that you would say that.
Well, at this point too, Whole Foods are everywhere.
Everywhere.
And they're owned by Amazon, so you really shouldn't feel bad if you ingest it before leaving.
I'm almost certain the Whole Foods is the type of place that would be like, if you need it, then it's yours. You know, you need this food.
If you're watching this, test that out for us. Let us know how it goes. Beautiful. Holy shit, we're at 2:45 here, huh?
Yep.
Wow. How do we wind this down?
Thomas, what is something that you want to tell the kids, the youth, who are so excited?
Give us a speech. Give us a Thomas speech live on the show.
They're so excited to see it. Give them a taste.
Imagine the crowd is roaring, or they're silent and they're sweating and they're tired from moshing.
Oh my God.
Spotlight.
Really? You want me to give a speech right now?
Do a tight five.
Like an elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Pitch me your ideals in 5 minutes.
Pitch you the ideals I have in 5 minutes. For the kids now.
Yeah, what do they need to know? What are they missing?
I would start off by saying I appreciate everybody in this room.
Wow.
I think it's easy for people to take for granted the fact that like they did something and then rest on that. Yeah, we did something. You should acknowledge and respect that. And I don't think that earns acknowledgement or respect. Lots of people do things that go their entire life without acknowledgement or respect that they should get. So I thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
This is the beta speech.
You're welcome.
No problem.
But then I would ask people, why are you here?
Ooh.
Are you here because this is a form of escapism for you? Because this is, it's up there with a good time on the weekend, or because you like to cosplay as a bad guy? Or are you here because this is a release? Because you've got things going on inside of you, and you've seen things that make you very upset, and you don't really know how to focus that anger. But for some reason, this music speaks to you in a way that it feels like this could be the place where you could let that out. Wow. So just take...
Wow.
It's just something I thought about.
This one's
recently.
called...
Yeah.
Beautiful. You hear that, fuckers? Take that to heart. It's real.
That was good.
Gorgeous. I would be pitting next song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what you do is that you go, damn, that was introspective. Now here comes a real caveman riff.
Amen.
Yeah.
As your last assignment, Thomas, I'm going to ask you two things. I need straight edge Mt Rushmore.
Oh, nice.
And I need top 4 hardcore records of all time.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I knew there was something I was forgetting.
Yep.
It's like I need to prep this.
It's letter mosh time, baby.
Yeah.
Straight edge Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
I gotta say Gorilla Biscuits. That was the band that got me into hardcore.
Interesting.
Listening to a lot of like epitaph punk bands, and I'd kind of gotten wind of them. I think somebody was wearing their shirt, and one of their, like a Lagwagon guy was wearing one of their shirts, and I said, well, that looks like a dumb punk band.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
And they were selling
I'm going to love that.
Yeah.
And they were selling Start Today at the local Hot Topic, and I said, I'm going to buy that. And then, of course, that record starts so, triumphantly.
Kind of a crazy omission last week. Well,
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Well, it just, like, you hear that and you go, oh, this is something. And then you read the lyrics and it's life-changing. So, Gorilla Biscuits is up there for straight edge Mount Rushmore. Earth Crisis is on the straight edge Mount Rushmore.
Kind of like that's Lincoln. You're not going.
They weren't first, but they
exactly
they abolished it.
Oddly enough, Earth Crisis is the first hardcore band I ever heard. There was a guy who rode my school bus, and he knew that I liked like new metal, and he was like, "You need to listen to some real shit,
some real new metal."
yeah, and he played me
Slither.
Earth Crisis. And I remember that weekend going to the mall to like an FYE. Y'all remember those?
Oh yeah, there's a brand new one at my local mall.
Yeah,
and just being like, I gotta find this record. It had like a earth with like a dagger going through it, and it was like it was
Oh,
a live record.
it was the Oath That Keeps
The
Me Free.
Oath,
The live
Yes,
album?
and I was like, I
Nice.
gotta find this. They're like, oh, we don't have that. And I was like, fuck. And then I just kind of forgot about it and didn't come back to it until years later. But I remember just being floored by that. And then for me, it came back full circle with Earth Crisis, where I like kind of overlooked them a little bit. Like I liked the hit, I was like, oh, I like Gamora Seasons End. But then when I went vegan, it was like, well, now I gotta listen to
This
it.
is your
like,
Bible now.
yeah, this is my Bible.
No
now.
pun intended.
And that's when I really appreciated them.
Okay.
I mean, that's George Washington and Lincoln to me,
Yeah. All right.
and Ben Franklin, 3 of the great presidents. Anyway, what's your next one?
I'm not taking that bait, dude.
What's your next one?
This is hard, man.
No, it's not.
It's not. You
No.
have yours like just in the chamber.
Of straight edge bands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Not giving you any
I mean,
answers.
Thomas, we do this every goddamn week.
Every
okay?
week, buddy.
You know how many Mount Rushmores we have planned?
Okay, but is it straight edge Mount Rushmore because they're like one of my favorite bands and they're straight edge, or is it because their straight edgeness puts them on the Mount Rushmore?
I mean, a lot of straight edge bands, one of your answers is not straight edge anymore, One of them is the only one that's still straight edge. One of 2. So I think it can be both. The best straight edge bands, what are the last 2? The best bands who are straight edge.
4 Punch.
Yeah. There we go.
Easy.
Easy.
I got into hardcore during the '97 revival.
Nice.
So I have a lot of bad 7-inches. But I also like In My Eyes, 4 Punch, Bane, 10 Yard Fight. Those were like my favorite bands, but they were all just on the cusp of breaking up as I was getting into it.
Right.
And as much as I loved In My Eyes, I feel like 4 Punch has had more longevity for me.
Yeah.
Not to mention that
that's legit timeless music.
yeah, it's like if I put on Floor Punch, I'm turning 41 this year. I still want to pit my ass off
Yeah.
when I listen to Floor Punch. Or I'm like, yeah, here we go. So
100%.
yeah,
Great
Floor Punch,
answer.
and not to mention that Mark Porter is still one of the funniest people on Twitter,
And still edge.
Straight edge.
and still fucking straight edge. Still fucking straight edge. Not a lot of people can still say that.
Goddamn right.
All right, I got one more.
Mm-hmm.
A band that really wanted me to be like, make me want to be like, fuck, I'm straight edge.
Yeah.
Throwdown.
Dude. Great answer. Throwdown was probably the first one for me.
Dude, we went to Gainesville Fest 2000. This is like before the fest. It was still kind of like a mix of like punk and hardcore.
Mhm.
This is when distros were at shows out the ass.
Hell yeah.
And the guy I rode down there with Nate, he bought Beyond Repair.
Fuck yeah.
And I was literally asleep in the car on the drive home when he put it on. And I like woke up and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
This is it. I
And
mean,
it was
they were kind of the straight edge torchbearers for that. There
Oh
was,
my dude.
Yeah.
It almost seems hokey now where it's like you look at the lyrics and stuff, but it's like I realize now as an older person, like when you're 16
Mhm.
and somebody's like, you don't have to fucking drink or do drugs, you can extra fist up, fuck the world. You're like,
yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was never a time in my life where I had more pressure to do those things.
100%.
Like, I never needed straight edge
100%.
more than 14 to 21.
Yeah.
100. And they put it in the best way possible. Don't lose sight.
Dude.
You're
Banger.
you're spin kicking. You're singing along. You're possibly crying because you're so proud to be straight edge in that moment.
Dude.
I just saw him play that song. I've covered that song.
I covered that song.
See?
Fuck yeah.
Bo?
Great. It's up to us.
Dude, that in drop B.
They're probably
That's probably
lower
in
than
drop B.
Yeah, it's probably even lower. Yeah, they were. Wow.
You're right. Okay, so it's Gorilla Biscuits, Earth Crisis, Floor Punch, Throwdown.
Yeah.
Great.
Fantastic.
Very me answers. Those are very
I agree.
That's very me. Very good. And now
What's your top letter moshed, baby? Top 4 all time. Records.
Okay. So I know my first one, hands down.
Great.
Silent Majority's Life of a Spectator.
Wow.
Really?
Interesting.
I know it's the reason that I've been able to bond with the Long Island people.
I'm
so
sure.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a fan, Bo?
I'm not. I'm inexperienced.
Okay, I think this record is like legit amazing.
Okay.
I'm with you, Thomas. And this is not really my thing.
Yeah.
So look, can I talk about why?
Yeah.
Any chance I get to talk about this record. Silent Majority was a case of a band that was around playing shows when I was around and broke up before I actually saw them because I didn't understand the immediacy of seeing them.
Oh.
I'm like, oh yeah, that band Silent Majority. I've heard a couple songs. They're pretty good. But I'd rather like, you know, when you're younger, you have to like pick and choose the shows you go to. Like I'd rather go see H2O with like Stretch Armstrong.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it was like that. It was that type of case.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how like short-sighted I was being at the time.
Totally.
Then a few years later, I'm listening to Life of a Spectator. I'm like, you know, I think it was Crime and Stereo. I'd kind of gotten thick with them, and they were like, oh, you should check out Silent Majority. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm still young. This is before Foundation's even a band, really being a band. And it just, something like a bomb went off in my head from the first song that I heard, where it was like my favorite band up to that point was Unbroken, because it was like heavy, it was straight edge, it was kind of dark, and I was like, yeah, I kind of relate to that. As soon as Silent Majority, like as soon as it came through my headphones, I was like, this is my life.
Was it Taming the L Word?
Yeah.
God,
those songs are about
banger, dude.
like awkward relationships when you're a teenager, watching your friends sell out, and like not like in a snarky way, like, oh, you fucking sell out, you fucking waste. It's just like,
how could you do this to me?
well, like the song about the train.
Yeah.
He's like, I put my name and our names. I don't know if that's specifically a straight edge song. He's like, I'm putting our names up on the train with spray paint, and when that train comes back through town, all the other names are faded, but mine is still there. Like I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. And I related to that so much more because I grew up in the boring fucking suburbs of a city. And that's what my life was. Mm-hmm. Being like a little fucker trying to fill the time. And that's what those songs are kind of like about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that just like...
How would you describe them, Thomas? It's like fast emo.
I mean, I've heard it. You know, I've heard it, but I've never dove.
It's like Turning Point.
It's like emo pop punk played by dudes who listen to fucking like New York beatdown bands.
Yeah.
VOD.
It's
like,
great. This record's amazing.
I love Sub-Zero, but I also really like Pretty Parts.
Yeah.
So like I'm playing this now, you know? And it's like, and that's the funny thing too. Like you can talk to the dudes in King 9. They write some of the scariest riffs on earth, and every one of them I think loves Silent Majority.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They all do.
Isn't it? Wouldn't Brand New and Taking Back Sunday would both say like Silent Majority was all-time influence for them?
There were like proto bands before Silent Majority, right? Like Mind Over Matter and stuff like that. But Silent Majority just kind of hit a new benchmark of like, this is what we sound like, and kind of defined the Long Island sound.
Totally.
Wow.
So you had bands like Thieves and Assassins and Crime and Stereo, Blood Red, Capital, like all those bands kind of like post that like, it's a very distinct sound. Like, you know, a Long Island band when you hear it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree. Great. Okay. That's a very good answer. First Silent Majority on the show.
First, for sure.
Yeah. The most important record in my life.
Wow.
All right.
Beautiful.
Next record. Unbroken. It's getting tougher to say the right things, which is a compilation of the 7 inches. But that might be
not the big one.
Not Live, Love.
Yeah, not Life, Love, Regret.
Okay. You're an EP man.
I think the last couple EPs are their best songs, and I think they would say the same thing. Like,
were they straight edge till the end?
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, they were straight edge till the end. I was going to put them in my straight edge Mount Rushmore, but then I realized not so much. Like, I think of them as more of like just a band.
Sure.
Not because of their straight edginess. That's why I asked that question. Hatebreed, Satisfaction.
Easy
Pick. Here's the thing. You can always turn to it's like how Christians must feel about the Bible. You can always turn to it must just be
like, oh man.
It's there for if you're hung up writing wise, if you're bored creatively, if you need inspiration at the gym, or in your life, anything. It is like truly one of the most reliable pieces of text in my life.
It's like it's what you need. It's like electrolytes. It's what you need.
Amen.
Okay, I got one more.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Probably Avail over the James.
Interesting.
Wow. Interesting. The Richmond Atlanta connection prevails once again.
Yeah.
There was a time where I thought I was going to get that album artwork tattooed on like my chest.
The guy, is that the guy?
No, it's the bird where its wing is like the James River.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just a huge guy on your chest.
The stick figure guy, right? That's their logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dixie guy. I have it tattooed on my leg.
Do they have a dancing guy?
They had a dancing guy, Bobo.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know I support dancing guys and bows of all varieties.
3 out of 4 of your answers we've not gotten before, which is pretty crazy.
Avail was a very important band for me when I was younger because they were like a gateway drug band. I was into punk music, and they kind of helped me bridge that gap to hardcore, like along with the Gorilla Biscuits. And then even when I got older, you know, sometimes you kind of like outgrow a band. You still like them, but you're like, I'm kind of moving on to different things.
Yeah.
They came through town with American Nightmare. I was obviously there to see American Nightmare. I was like, I don't know if I want to stay for Avail. And as soon as they started playing, I was like, if I leave now, I'll make the greatest mistake of my life.
Yeah.
And I was just pitting my ass off, singing along. And I'm glad I just stayed because that was like the last time they played Atlanta.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So
you were right.
You know, I know they play shows now, but it's like on a different caliber. I don't want to see them in like the big ass venue.
There's no the intimacy is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And that's
beautiful.
Hardcore at the end of at its heart is that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we can expect a couple of those from Foundation as well as FYA, you know?
Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know.
Thomas, this has been a blast, a breeze.
Yeah, truly.
Everything in between. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, Foundation's back. You're going to see him at FYA this year. January something.
Yeah,
2025.
Yeah. The dates are getting changed. It's fine.
Dates are getting changed for a good reason, guys.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear lip.
Well, you used your voices and they were heard, and the right people are doing the right things because of it. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Correct.
And Foundation's going to be there. I'll be there. Bo will be there. Stephen will be there.
Are you guys going to be there for real?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Awesome.
We don't miss it.
Don't miss that one. That's a good one.
No, definitely not. But Thomas, thank you so much. You already gave a beautiful speech earlier. But if there's any parting words you'd like to leave, now is the time.
I just hope I did my band proud. I hope they're not like wincing or cringing.
No, I don't think that's possible. Listen, you got an elite group of corpsmen in that band with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would be bummed if I was in Foundation and breaking up, just like you said, just because I don't get to hang out with them as much anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for you all that that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
That you're just back chilling.
Yeah,
I love it. Miss the boys. Just got to see my bros.
Just miss the boys.
Get the band back together.
Just pause the esports for a bit, and it's back.
No, it's the school year now. I don't have time to play games.
Oh, really?
That's a summer thing.
Okay.
Yeah. When we're back in session, I'm too busy.
Are you on Overwatch 2?
Yes.
You're still on there?
Yes.
You a Fortnite guy?
No.
Dude, you got to get on there.
I don't want to play Fortnite because I don't want to have to talk about it with my students.
Because that's all they do.
It will bubble to your head and you'll be like, you gotta start the new season? Or?
Yeah.
No, I know. And then they'll be like, oh, you play? Can you add me?
Yeah.
Can we play together?
And that doesn't work. And none of them are playing Overwatch.
Well, they were when 2 came out.
Because it was free.
It kind of got revamped. Like, okay, let's play. So, and I actually played with a few of them, and they were trash.
Yeah. We played together quite a lot.
I miss those days, man.
I know, man.
There was
are you still a Genji man? Or no, Kyle was a Genji guy.
Kyle was a Genji man. I was always a support guy. I like Zen and Ana. But it was I miss the days of me, you, Yoon, Kyle, Greg Wilmot was like playing it too for some reason.
Fucking shit up, dude.
And just getting on there and then making Kyle so pissed off that he would quit.
Because you can't heal a Genji. It's impossible.
Yeah, he's all over the map. It's his fault.
Exactly. It's his fault. Well, that was incredible. What a great episode. Thomas, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
We did it. All right. Thank you all so much. You know the drill. We love you so much, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.